Hey, I'm Cece Summers. Welcome to the Kid at the Back. The creator of the game has made it very clear that the only version they would want streamed of this game is the demo version that does not have the not safe for work content in it, and we're going to respect that. So this is the version that they are allowing us to play. So if you're wanting like the real crazy shit, you're going to have to go and buy the game off their page, okay? I just know this game has been very, very requested, which means I'm not going to have a good time. Guess it's time for us to head to the back of the class where the cool kids sit. I wouldn't know. I always sit at the front. Does not matter. Through high school, through college, right there in the front. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived, whom you may know, by the name of Annabel Lee. Day one, the beloved. We're already quoting Edgar Allan Poe. And class dismissed. By our next meeting, I need a full report on everyone's poem that they have chosen. What is this? Oh! Is this like a choice counter? Okay. I will not accept one paragraph. I need 2 whole pages filled with words. Everyone got that? Classroom broke into a series of "yes, professor," while some spared no time in packing their things, eager to be dismissed and disregarding the teacher altogether. Your literature teacher packs up her own things and exits the classroom. The moment your literature teacher left, the classroom broke into small groups as each student gathered up to meet with their respective cliques. Some engaged in conversation, while some spared no time in exiting the classroom. A yawn escaped your lips. You turned your head and observed the clouds outside. The clouds are shaded in dark gray. The sky's once blue color is now turning the same lighter shade of gray. The looming threat of rain made you click your tongue in irritation. Just my luck. I didn't bother to bring an umbrella, too. Standing up from your seat, you were about to grab your bag when you felt a tap on your shoulder. Turning around, you come face to face with cobalt blue eyes, her blonde hair shaped like swirls with its ends dyed in blue and pink, complementing her entire ensemble, even if it's just a white button-up that clearly looks too small for her. I mean, she looks awesome. I really hope that she's my best friend because I would absolutely be best friends with somebody like this. I want to be like this. Hot pink jacket tied around her waist and the school's black skirt. Her hand, which you assumed was the same one that tapped your shoulder, hung up in the air. She seemed unsure whether to continue or not, judging from the way her eyebrows furrowed downward when biting her glossed lower lip. She turned slightly, her head not fixed on you, but rather on whoever is behind her. You hear her whisper something under her breath before eventually composing herself and turning her focus solely on you now. Hey, you're going to lunch with us, right? I mean, you should. I don't usually see you in the cafeteria often, so you must not be eating properly. Aw, that's very sweet of you to be worried about me. Why is she not on the heart counter? How can you keep up with classes looking like that? Okay. Excuse me? You took a step back, clenching the strap of your bag as you glare at the blonde woman before you. Who was this woman? Who does she think she is? Judging from the woman's expression, she finally came to realize the words that came out of her mouth. Brittney! A familiar voice interrupted the two of you. You turned your head to where the voice was, and there stood none other than your old friend. That's really insensitive of you. Imagine if someone else told you about how you look. Amazing? His familiar orbs are of azure blue, clearly replicating lapis lazuli, and his chocolate brown hair tied loosely in a low braid. Sun-kissed skin enhanced his handsome features, adorned with a black long-sleeve button-up and an indigo vest to add to his clean look. He's known as Jericho Ichabod. Crow, for short, the class representative and a close friend of yours. Am I in high school? Is this a high school thing? You could not pay me enough to go back to high school. Well, the only close friend you have. Crow made his way to your side. With a hand on his hip, he reprimands the blonde-haired woman next to you, and the said woman just shrugged her shoulders. You placed a hand over your beating heart. The close proximity between you two caused a blush to appear on your cheeks. No matter how many times you get close to him or him getting near you, you'll never get used to it. His whole aura just gives a warm feeling in you, the butterflies in your stomach thrashing and raging, begging to be released. Yeah, you may have a bit of a crush on him. The woman named Brittney just rolls her eyes, seemingly used to Crow's reprimands. Well, you're the one who insisted on me initiating talk. You could have done it more nicely, you know. Like a simple invite alone. Crow gives you a small smile while handing out something to you. You look down to see it. It was your ID. You dropped this, by the way. Your name is... Boop. Your last name is... Oh, I never get to put in my last name. Okay. The ID shows my name, Cece Summers, along with my pronouns. Bink. You stare at your own ID picture and see yourself more... Probably this one. Use feminine terms and will be called a girl/woman. Woman, I'm not a girl. I'm not a girl. Okay. You looked at your ID picture, seeing a young woman and reading your name with your eyes. Okay. Name Cece Summers, pronouns she, her. Maybe my eyes are itching. Nah, that's right. Your fingers briefly brushed against his. You bit your lip, then muttered a small thank you before pocketing your school ID. Crow gives you a closed-eyed smile, returning with his own thank you, then turns his attention back towards Brittney. Why'd he say thank you? What did I do? Following up behind Brittney are 3 more people. The tallest of the 3 is a sporty-looking man, clad in a green and yellow jersey with the number 10 settled in front. His eyes are a bright green, the color that kind of reminds you of green apples. His skin a beautiful brown that nearly matches his curly hair, while stubble is nestled on his chin, indicating his maturity. Okay, we're definitely in high school, aren't we? The second tallest is a man in a purple hoodie. His eyes are sharp and slanted with long lashes, adorned with teal-colored orbs underneath. Orbs. His hair is straight and styled into a hime cut, save for a short strand tied with a red ribbon and a low ponytail bound with the same shade of red behind him. He looks uninterested with what was going around at the very moment. And the last, but not the least, is the shortest of the 3, maybe within the group as well. Her skin pale, her eyes dotted with a few freckles here and there, as rectangular-shaped frames shield away orange orbs. Orbs. Her hair is short and loose like waves. She wears a black button-up under an orange vest and a black skirt matching Brittney's. So wait, is there a school uniform or no? Because no one else is wearing uniform except for Brittney and the other girl with the orange orbs. Damn, Britt, you sure are bad at socializing. Hey, Gio, seems like you have competition. The tall jock clad in a yellow and green sports jersey lets out a loud laugh, causing some students to turn to look at him. Brittney's face grew red from embarrassment. Gritting her teeth, she crossed her arms while tapping her foot on the ground. This only made the jock laugh even harder. Shut the fuck up, Daryl. You're causing a scene. Also, if you were me, you would have done just as badly. That is, in fact, not true. I'm a lovable guy. Oh, yeah? As the 2 argue, you turn your head towards the other tall male in a hoodie. Sensing your gaze, he looks down at you, his hand still in his hoodie's pocket. A sudden chill went down your spine. You quickly averted your eyes away from the imposing male and landing on the meek girl in orange right beside Brittney. She hasn't spoken since she arrived with the 2 males, but judging from how attached she is to Brittney, you're guessing she's closer with her than the rest of the group. She kind of reminds you of yourself when you were still new to the school with no one to talk to. Not until Crow befriended you, of course. Were you as clingy to Crow back then as she is with Brittney now? Sorry, they're kind of a rowdy bunch, huh? I hope you're not too overwhelmed. They sure are. Something. Look, Cece, you're still free not to join us for lunch if you're uncomfortable. Meeting new people is overwhelming. I just want to let you know that I respect your feelings and that you matter, Cece. Thanks, Crow. That's very sweet. Crow reassures you with a worried smile on his lips. I'm sure he's going to be saying the same shit when he has me in the fucking dog cage in his basement. This is high school, so his parents' basement. You turn back to the group, the tall jock named Daryl now bothering Gio with an arm around his shoulder. The visible irritation on Gio's face did nothing to sway Daryl's happy-go-lucky personality. Brittney leans on one of the desks with her arms crossed, striking a conversation with the bespectacled girl next to her. What's her name? I didn't seem to catch it last time. Crow glanced at where you were pointing at. Ah, Jessie? You can call her Jess for short. She's best friends with Brittney. She kind of reminds me of you back when we first met. All shy and quiet. Only that you're cuter. Shut up. Crow pinches your cheek playfully and you groan, but your mock annoyance is betrayed by the small smile that formed on your lips. How time flies, huh? That's right, you got yourself acquaintanced with Crow in your sophomore year. Before you left for the city, your father emphasized the importance of having companions and establishing friendships, most especially for this college. Oh, are we in college? Where are we? Listen, I am an ignorant colonizer. I don't know what a class representative does for a college. We didn't have those in my college. Olympias University. Is this supposed to be Olympias? The largest university in Titan City. Okay. It's known for having the best facilities and the best education, where you're guaranteed to rise from the bottom to the top. Well, that's what the advertisement tells you. You tried getting to know people during your first year, but to no avail. No matter how much you try to make friends, you just couldn't seem to bring yourself to talk to anyone. And to your dismay, no one seems to bother to even befriend you. Sure, you would talk with a few classmates for projects, but nothing goes beyond that. As if they're scared of you. Or more like, disgusted? You can never tell. The looks you've received have all been mixed signals, some bad, some out of pity. That is, until Crow came into the picture. Among everyone, Crow was the sole person who approached you with the intention of friendship. You were wary of him at first. Why would someone want to befriend you out of nowhere? Your past experiences caused you suspicion. You've had a history with people who try to earn your good graces because you were somehow beneficial to them. You thought Crow would be the same case, so you ignored him. But then he kept following you, trying to strike a conversation with you every now and then. You tried to dismiss him, ignoring his presence as usual, but Crow was determined to break down your walls and kept insisting on tagging along until it annoyed you once. Just once. That is, until it happened on the last day of your first semester in your sophomore year. You fell victim to one of the school's biggest hidden flaws. If Crow wasn't there to stop them, you could not begin to imagine what would have happened to you. What happened? Thank goodness you're unharmed. You're concerned about me? How about you? You're the one who's hurt. Thinking back, you thought he was crazy and stupid, taking blow after blow until the perpetrators got bored and left the both of you. I got attacked? What kind of fucking school is this? Well, that's the whole point, right? As long as you're not hurt, this is nothing. You're crazy. You know that? And he just laughs it off, wincing due to the bruises on his face. I never got your name, crazy person. It's Jericho. Jericho Ichabod. No, but just call me Crow. Nice to meet you, Crow. I'm Cece. You brought him to the clinic that day and became inseparable ever since. Right after that incident, Crow promised to never get in fights again and continues to keep his word on it. You really owe it to him. You look back at Crow. He tilts his head. Something on your mind, Cece? Nothing, just happy that you're my friend. Not the slow blink. He looked at you with raised eyebrows, probably surprised at how random your thoughts seem. He didn't say anything as he let your words sink in, and his usual gentle smile appeared on his face. Crow inched closer to you, indicating that he feels the same way. Brittney must have taken notice of the amount of time wasted in talking and arguing as she turns to you one last time. We've talked a little bit too much. We'll end up not getting any seats if we keep this up. So, are you coming with us or not? Caught up in your little daydream about the past, Brittney finally spoke up, catching your attention. You look back at Crow, recalling his words. Don't force yourself to join if you're still uncomfortable. You then decided to. We'll go with them. Why not, right? We'll go with them. Brittney hummed a sound of content before turning her heel and heading towards the classroom's exit, her 3 other friends following behind her. Crow looks back at you by the door, waiting for you. Catching up, you raise your head to meet his azure orbs once more. Your heartbeat quickens within your ribcage in response. You two, stop ogling each other and hurry up. Brittney's exclamation made the both of you jump. You merely look down, using your hair as a curtain to hide your reddened face. Crow just rubbed the back of his neck. You two eventually followed behind Brittney and the rest of the group towards the cafeteria. The cafeteria is loud and crowded. Tables are filled with students, while the rest are lined up by the counter grabbing their lunches. A groan escaped Brittney's lips as she looks around for any sign of a vacant table you all could share. What a fucking great time to not bring lunch, huh? Next time I'm preparing my lunch the night before. I wonder why it's so crowded today. New lunch menu, perhaps? Seems like it. We'll be left with nothing else if we keep standing around here and loiter. Hey, Gio, Daryl. Oh yes? What is it, your royal majesty? Daryl cooed in a teasing tone. Brittney rolled her eyes at his silly gesture. Could you two look for a vacant spot while the rest of us line up? Saves us time that way. Yeah, sure, Britt. Let's go, Gio. Wrapping an arm around Gio's shoulder while ignoring his obvious irritation from the said male, the two walked away in hopes of looking for an unoccupied table. Brittney then turns to you. Oh, right, Cece. I'm not sure if you've packed anything like those two did, but if you want to line up with us or go help them find a table, make a choice. You decide that you... I mean, what do I have? Did I bring my own lunch or did I buy my lunch? I don't know. I would assume if I'm antisocial, I wouldn't buy a lunch because I wouldn't want to be around all those people in line, so I have a lunch. I'll go help find a table. It's fine. I have my lunch. Oh, that's good. Well, you go join those two goons and wait for us, all right? Brittney gives you a nod and waves you off. Turning on her heel, she quickly makes her way to the line with Jess following behind her. You want me to get you anything, Cece? Nah, it's fine. You won't get anything for yourself if you keep idling by. Crow's shoulders shook at your statement, letting out a soft and hearty chuckle as a smile made his way on his handsome features. He turns around, giving you a wave, and follows behind the two girls, hoping to make it to the line with them. As for you, you made your way to where Gio and Daryl were. It seems that they have managed to find a vacant spot as you saw them currently seated on a round table, merely cleaning up after the group of students who previously occupied the space. That's shitty. Clean up after yourself. Once seated, the two boys took out what seemed to be their individual packed lunches. Before Gio is a very intricate bento box. The contents inside looks as expensive looking as its container, whereas Daryl only has 3 sandwiches he took from out of his paper bag. Your food always looks so good, Gio. I bet they taste just as good, too. Mind if I take one? No. Gio said with a flat tone, slapping the jock's hand away from his bento box. Daryl pouted, rubbing his hand before returning with his own sandwich. As you sat down across the two boys, Gio keeps his eyes on you for quite a while, his gaze unwavering as he chewed on his lunch. What's up with this guy sizing you up? You and Gio stared at each other for a good and uncomfortable minute. Just as you were about to open your mouth to ask what the guy's deal is, Daryl's eyes went wide as he finally took notice of your presence at the table. Oh, right. Cece, correct? What did you bring for lunch? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, that is. Sharing what food I have or sharing the food itself? Why not both? As long as you're willing to share. Unlike this guy over here. Gio only rolled his eyes when the jock nudged his shoulder. Don't bother with Daryl. He'll take your food even if you don't give him any. Hey now, I'm not that cruel. Say that to Brittney's lunch that you took yesterday. Jess was kind enough to give her lunch to compensate. I was hungry. Not my fault Coach had me do 3 laps around the field. While the other two bicker on like children, you let out a small chuckle, eating the sandwich you took out from your own container. Maybe these guys aren't so bad as you thought they might be. Then at the corner of your eye, you notice Brittany's familiar wavy blonde hair making her way to your table. In tow is none other than Jess and Crow, each with their own trays of food. Move your ass aside, Daryl. I'm sitting there. A loud gasp escaped Brittany's lips, her mouth open in wide shock. The food on her tray is now splattered across her white uniform. Brittany! Oh, sorry about that. Should have watched where you were going there. Multiple footsteps came near. A trio of girls showed themselves before you. Are they the Powerpuff Girls? What's happening? The tallest of the bunch, the red-haired one, placed a hand over where her heart is and lets out a mocking gasp at the mess. Brittany's eyes met with the red-haired bully. Judging from the way Brittany's face twisted with rage, they seemed to know each other. Britt, are you all right? We should get yourself cleaned. You fucking bitch! This is my only clean uniform. How fucking dare you? Oh, look at Miss Claire all flared up. Careful there, sweetie. You'll get wrinkles. It's not like you're not ugly already. The mean girl coos at Brittany. Her two friends behind her laughs along with her antics. You've got a bad feeling about this. The entire cafeteria breaks in a few murmurs and whispers, their attention now fixated on the group of girls. Some stopped eating while some took out their phones, ready to film whatever happens next. Crow tried to come in between them to stop the fight, but he wasn't fast enough. The next thing we knew, another loud gasp was heard. A wide smile etched itself on Brittany's face. The mean girl's white uniform, now smeared with varieties of wet sauces and oils, matching Brittany's own dirtied uniform. Jess's face filled with shock. The food from her tray is now gone. Take that, shit stain. You fucking bitch! Food fight! Oh, Daryl, you asshole. The moment Daryl howled those words, the cafeteria went into a hectic frenzy. Food and drinks started flying across the area as each student started tossing whatever they got their hands on. Are those trays? Cece! Everyone stop this madness at once! A sudden wave of pain made its way to your head, and the last thing you saw was Crow calling out your name before passing out. Goddamn, how heavy are these trays? Ugh. Where am I? Oh, you're awake. Thank goodness. Crow? You tried to sit up, but a sudden shot of pain went through your head, stopped you. As I'm doing my best. Doing my best. You reached out to touch where the ache was coming from, but Crow stopped you by holding onto your wrist. Careful now. The nurse already bandaged your head. Don't push yourself. Crow gently pushed you back down onto the medical bed. He takes a lone stool and takes a seat right next to you. What happened? Well, after Daryl started that mess of a food fight, the principal was called in to stop it. Daryl got lucky enough to escape when he did. Gio was nowhere to be seen. As for Brittany, what about her? Well, Jess helped her out to grab a new uniform from the principal's office. Then why does my head hurt so much? Someone, somehow, threw a tray, and you were unfortunate enough to get hit by it. Thankfully, I got you out of there before things got ugly. Thanks, Crow. I owe you one. I'm always there for you, Cece. Never forget that. I don't trust it. How fucking old are we? I don't know. Because universities don't have principals. High schools have principals. Right? So... Anyway, it's around 1:45 in the afternoon right now. I should probably head out to my next class. You should stay here until the nurse gets back. You'll be all right alone here, right? You wanted to say no, but you stopped yourself before you could. Yes, you can go ahead. You sure? Yes, I'll be fine, Crow. You've done enough for me today. You give him a small smile, but he did not return it. Crow squeezes your hand, hesitant to let you go. Eventually, he loosened his grip. He stands up from his chair and walks towards the exit. But before he could leave, he turned around and gave you one last smile, eventually closing the door and going out of the infirmary. You groaned and laid back down on the bed, feeling the bandage on your head. At least the pain is slowly dying a bit. Hope it didn't leave a mark on my head. You're guessing you came face to face with the edges of some of the metallic trays. Since when did trays hurt that much? Then again, there were athletes in the area, Daryl being one of them. Just then you heard the door opening, the nurse's voice echoing through the room as the clicking of her heels got louder as she drew closer. The school nurse entered, and following her was a tall student dressed in black. Okay, so this is the other one, right? Yeah, this is the other one. So we've got... Hey, we already got a thingy for that guy. Okay. I trust neither of them, but... He seems to be holding on to his left hand. You can see the red streak of blood overflowing. It looks bad. He sure had it worse than me. I wonder what happened. You should be thankful you didn't cut a vein. How were they able to get past with that pocket knife in the first place? The nurse sighed. It seemed like she's got her hands full with another student. A pocket knife? The latter, however, didn't say anything as he let out a small hiss when the nurse dabbed some disinfectant on his wound. You sat up slowly, careful to not hit your head on anything else before stealing a glance at the student and the nurse. Your eyes meet with reddish-orange ones. You mean reddish-orange orbs. Your heart raced as you feel your heartbeat quicken. What an unusual color. They remind me of the setting sun. The nurse finishes up wrapping around his wound, a blotch of red slowly seeping out and staining the once white bandage. He needs stitches. If the bleeding is that bad, he needs some stitches. Hello? However, his gaze is still fixated on you. The nurse follows his line of sight and finally takes notice of your conscious figure. Ah, you're finally awake, Miss Summers. She approached you with a bottle of painkillers she took from one of the transparent cabinets on the walls before handing a pill to you. How are you feeling, dear? Does your head still hurt? She can give me pills? No school nurse that I've heard of can give out pills. Where the fuck are we? What is this? I'm so confused. How are you feeling, dear? Does your head still hurt? It's slowly dissipating, ma'am. Thank you. She hands you the pill and you take it down your throat. Take it down your... Interesting wording. You're free to stay here for a while longer, Miss Summers, but you need to return to your class as soon as you're feeling better. I was unconscious. I need to be monitored for a concussion. I probably need to be sent home, depending on how old I am. Has anybody called my parents? Where is my dad? What is happening? You gave the nurse a nod. She, in return, hums in approval before going back to the taller male in black. As for you, Mr. Fuck me. Brugmancia. Oh, Jesus Christ. Listen. You can't throw these names at me, dude. I cannot pronounce them. Please, no, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I genuinely can't do it. I'm going to do my best. Brugmancia. If ever your bandage gets dirty throughout the day, don't hesitate to come back here and I'll reapply it with a new roll. No, send him to the hospital to get stitches. What kind of fucking nurse is this? The taller male hummed. He turns on his heel and made his way towards the exit door before pausing. I'll return to my class now. Thanks for patching me up, nurse. The tall student gives you one last look with his fiery red eyes before making his exit with a click of the door. The nurse lets out a sigh, rubbing her temples, feeling a headache surfacing. I swear that child comes in here every other day. Are we also not concerned that somebody showed up on campus with a pocket knife and was slashing people with it? Because I feel like that's also very concerning. Him? Oh, you're not classmates with Mr. Brugmancia? Odd, I thought he might know you from the way he was looking at you. No, I haven't seen him around. More like you never bothered to look who was around, since no one would even bother to spare a glance at you. Well, either way, don't get into much trouble like him, all right? That raises a question in your head. Just how bad were the guy's injuries that he comes to the nurse's office almost every other day? It kind of explains why she's been sighing hard ever since she brought the tall male into her office. Okay, hold on. Pause. We're saying that this guy comes in so often that she's exasperated when he comes in because he's getting injuries. And this last one was from a pocket knife that somebody just brought in and slashed him with. And there's just zero concerns about this at all. No social worker or counselor or somebody who can keep an eye on things, because obviously people are getting in with weapons. It's fine. It's fine. Move past it. With an injury as bad as a near stab wound on the palm, you can only take a wild guess. Like, we're moving past it. And as much as you are curious to know what transpired, you're nearly late for your next class. Eyeing the clock on top of the door frame, you got out of the medical bed. You thanked the nurse and made your way out of her office. Time to go to class, I guess. Barely making it to your next class, you slid the classroom door open, earning you a few looks from the students inside the room. Turning to the podium, you exhaled a breath you didn't realize you were holding when you realized that your teacher was still absent. Fixing your composure, you scanned the room. A few easels and shelves filled with brushes and bottles stained with acrylic paint guaranteed that you made it to the right class. You made your way to your seat. Once settled down, you groaned, placing your elbows on the desk and resting your chin on top of your hands, waiting patiently for your professor's arrival. Though you couldn't help but notice a feeling of someone staring at you. You shook it off, thinking it must have been the lack of sleep. You look out the window. Or maybe it's the cold weather. Hearing the classroom door open, your art professor makes his way inside, his large, round belly standing out, round spectacles sitting on top of his nose, and a stereotypical brown beret on his head. He greets the class before starting his lecture. Art exhibit project featuring various eras of art as part of our thesis. This time we're tasked with expressionism. Remember, this is all part of your paper, and not to mention making a name for yourself, of course. Ho ho ho! More like taking the credit of a student's work and using it to advertise your shitty school. You scoffed at the thought. Hope you all got a partner already by this time. For this term, I'm tasking you all to create 3 works based on the exhibit's theme. This is where you want to throw your desk out the window. How could you forget? You weren't present during the previous meeting, and you absolutely knew no one in this specific class. Why were you taking art again? Oh, right. Your father was an artist, and he was a farmer. Your father was an artist as he was a farmer. So he's an artist and a farmer? Is he both? Is he the guy in the farmer painting with the pitchfork? Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. It was all for him. And maybe you could make a name for yourself with your works if ever your life as a gardener wouldn't turn out the way it should. All part of Plan B. And if that fails, I've got Plan C and D. I've yet to make up the rest. Or I guess I'll die. You shake away your silly thoughts. The problem is now at hand. You do not have a partner to work with. Now I want all of you to go to your chosen partner for this project so I can start explaining your tasks. Eventually, you are forced out of your seats since your seatmate's partner will be occupying it for the class. You curse at yourself. You could only hope that you're not the only student who didn't get their own partner for this class. Is it going to be the kid at the back? Upon looking around, it seems like everyone... Please don't leave. Don't click away. I'm sorry. Upon looking around, it seems like everyone is calm and collected. Were you the only one panicking here? Unlike the rest of the class scurrying around to meet their partner, you were the only fool who was standing still. Note on the only one standing, because from the corner of the classroom, there's a single student not bothering to stand up from their seat. Their seatmate had left to pair with someone else, leaving a vacant spot. It's that guy in the clinic. I never knew he's in the same class as me. Is he not going to bother with his partner? Unless... Hey there! He looks up from his desk and looks at your approaching form before you're eventually standing next to him. It's you. Seems like you're a bit lost there. Do you have a partner? No. Well, just your luck then. Me neither. So, do you want to be partners? Sure, why not? You took the vacant seat right beside him. His book, now tucked away and on his desk, is now a pen and a piece of paper, seemingly ready to take notes. Hey, I never got to know your name. It's not quite important. I mean, I would say that it is. I don't need your whole entire name. Just a name. Just a first name. Nickname is fine. That's whatever. Something to call you that's not, hey, you. Well, I should at least know what to call you instead of Green Street guy. He raised a brow at your silly nickname you gave him before slightly shaking his head. Sullivan? Sullivan? I'm gonna go with Sullivan? Fuck, man. I can't be mispronouncing the main characters' names. Fuck, Sullivan. Because his name is Sol, and Sol is Spanish. But this doesn't look like a Spanish name. I'm fucked, guys. I don't... It's the internet. Online told me both. So I'm going to go with Sullivan because of the nickname Sol. And then if I'm wrong, I'll just go fuck myself. But you can just call me Sol. Sol. Sol means sun or brightness, right? Okay. Ha. See? Okay. I'm on the right track here. Sol nods, rubbing the back of his head. You can say that. My mother gave me that name. It's a lovely name. Thanks. Well, I'm Cece Summers. Nice to finally know your name, Sol. Sol nods with a smile forming on his lips, then returning his attention back to the professor. 3 artworks to showcase. Note, it has to be some form of expressionism. Mediums will be strictly traditional. Your professor then proceeds to give other pointers for your project before leaving you and the rest of the class for the day. Everyone in the classroom proceeds to talk with their partners, already brainstorming ideas on what they're going to showcase and hopefully could get a high grade. You turn to Sol as he took out his own charcoal pencil and a sketch pad for the class. You got any plans for our first display, Sol? Expressionism is about conveying one's feelings, right? The easiest for now is a portrait. Let's use your face as an example. Let's not do that. My face? He lets out a low chuckle. There, you're making a cute expression right now. That could be considered as expressionism. Huh? Oh, but I have this bandage on my face. Wouldn't that hinder the process? You recall the events that happened back in the cafeteria. I can simply ignore it. Or make something better out of it. Give me a sick-ass face tattoo like Mike Tyson. Trust the process. He seems like he already has an idea on what to do. And judging from that half-filled sketchbook of his, he's quite familiar with the concept of art. Me, however, I'm not that good at art. I'm just not. I want to be. I want to be so hard, but I just not. I'm sure you're fine. Everyone starts somewhere. Plus, I can't really judge you since I haven't seen your work before. Along with this damned injury on my hand. Oh, right. Let's not stress that hand anymore. Well, prepare to be amazed. That's the spirit. With newfound determination from Sol's cheering, you took out your own sketch pad and charcoal pencil as you worked with his portrait. While you were sketching up, you couldn't help but avert your eyes on his bandaged hand from time to time. Seems like you're quite curious to know what happened to this, huh? And you weren't slick with it either. You froze when he caught you red-handed, just like the red seeping out of his hand. You stopped drawing. Sorry, that was rude of me. It's fine. This is just the usual for me. I've gotten worse injuries than this. You raised a brow at that. Not the worst? If you wouldn't mind me asking, what happened? He paused and averted his eyes, but opened up to speak. Nothing much. I was minding my own business, got assaulted. I think we're missing like a huge chunk of this story. I had to defend myself. He talked as if it's another normal Monday for him. Your eyes furrowed. He noticed and just chuckled. No need to worry about me. All that matters is that I'm still here. You didn't say anything, however, continuing on with the drawing, your movement slow and now refusing to look at his injured hand. The school is way more fucked up than I thought it would be. The sound of the school bell rang across the classroom and through the hallway. We're just gonna go with that? We're just minding your own business and then fucking attacked out of nowhere? A lot? Like all the time? You quickly made a few more lines on your portrait before giving up. You closed your pad and proceeded to shove it inside your backpack, earning you a confused look on your partner's face. Not even gonna show me what you've made? It's not done yet. That never bothered me. Can I see it? Wait! How about a small deal? I'll show it to you once I'm done with the portrait, and you Still need to draw me once your injury gets better. Sounds like a plan? You say with a wide grin on your face, trying your best to convince the male. He stares at your face for a short moment before eventually leaning back on his chair, arms crossed, and nods along with your deal. Packing your things, you and Sol continue out to the hallway. Do you have a phone? We should exchange numbers and update each other so we can do the next two more tasks. Sol then takes out his own phone and asks for your number. You recite it out and he inputted it on his phone. Let me try to send you a message. You nodded and looked at your phone screen and saw a new notification from an unknown number. This must be Sol's. Sup, he says. You type so differently from how you look. Are we just texting each other, standing directly next to each other? From the corner of your eye, you see Sol's eyebrow raised at your text. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. You chuckled. He rolled his eyes. Your stare lingers on Sol's face. A smile is embedded on his handsome features while he looks at the block of text on his phone. You bite the bottom of your lip as you recall the events that happened today. Mostly meeting new people. First, formally meeting Crow's group, and now, meeting Sol. Back then, you struggled to form friends throughout college, that you were convinced that you would be graduating without making a single connection, which would undoubtedly disappoint your father, and you were ready for it. You thought to yourself, these are odd people, eccentrics at most. All misunderstood people, all human, all the same. A sudden wave of determination washed over you. With a hand on your chest, you stare into Sol's orbs, making him tilt his head slightly. Sol, I want to be friends with you. I can sense that people tend to misunderstand you and your overall personality. I am an empath. Sol is quiet, but his gaze remains on you with a lingering curiosity. But let me be different. I want to know you. I want to understand you, Sol. If you let me. He blinked once, then twice, then a chuckle. He puts a large hand on top of your head, then ruffles your hair. Don't do that. All right, then. Let's mark today as the start of our wonderful friendship, Cece Summers. You playfully pushed his hand off your head and nudged him on the shoulder. He lets out a small laugh at your poor attempt. As to you two, Sullivan, Jesus Christ. As to you two, Sullivan, Brugmansia, Fuck. Just Sol is fine, Cece. Thank God. Well, I need to get going. See you tomorrow? Oh, of course. See you tomorrow, Cece. Giving Sol a wave of goodbye, you make your way towards the school's exit. Hehe. My darling. Oh, no. My sweet darling Cece. See, this is what happens. This is what happens when you put yourself out there and make friends. You just need to go to your house and sit in your room and never go out and die alone, because this is the alternative, I guess. Hi, that's horrible advice. Don't listen to that. Oh shit, I have 2 points with him now. Uh-oh. Oh, but why does he look so sad? He's got a sad face. Is it because I'm not hanging out with him? I don't like it. I don't like that. See you later, pumpkin. So it begins. As you walk through the hallway, your eyes caught on something on the nearby bulletin board. A poster was plastered on the large board. The Hallows Ball. Lorem ipsum is simply dummy text of the printing and typesetting industry. Lorem ipsum has been standard dummy text ever since the 1500s, when an unknown printer took a galley of type, and to make a type specimen book is like not even actually using the lorem ipsum text, but the definition of lorem ipsum text. Solid. Come enjoy the festive spirit of Hallows Eve. A Halloween party, huh? Seems promising. I would absolutely be there. I fucking love Halloween. A sudden small vibration came from your pocket. Curious, you took out your phone, expecting another message from Sol. It was from Crow. Your heart leapt from your chest, recalling the events that happened earlier that afternoon. Can you meet me after class? I'll be at the front gate. You didn't send a reply. What? Oh, that was him texting it twice. My dumbass. I thought I was telling him I'll be at the front gate. I'm an idiot. It's fine. Don't worry about me. This is totally fine. You didn't send a reply. Turning off your phone, you quickly made haste to the exit. You approached the school's gate, keeping an eye out for your friend. Sure enough, there stood Crow in all his glory, posture straight with his arms held behind his back, his bag neatly placed on the floor, and his foot tapping on the concrete floor nervously. You yourself are growing nervous with each step you took as you drew closer and closer to him. When you reached his side and made your presence known with a small greeting, you noticed the way that Crow's eyebrows raised in mild surprise, as if not expecting you to actually show up before him. He cleared his throat before composing himself properly, his body now facing in your direction. You wanted to see me? Yes, Lifting his bag from the floor, he slings a strap over his shoulder and offers his hand for you to take. I'd like to take you somewhere. It's a bit near the park. I'll lead if you let me. Sure. Take his hand, take his arm. I don't know. Does it matter? No, he's offering his hand. I'll take his hand. You took his hand. In return, Crow wraps his fingers around yours. His nervous smile melts into a genuine and happier one before he leads the both of you away from the school's gate into the streets. By the time you and Crow made it to the park, it was already sundown, and the stars slowly started painting the sky. Is this a place you were trying to lead me to, Crow? Not quite yet. Come here. You follow him through a thicket of thick bushes, surprised to see stony stairs. Though a bit run down, it still seems sturdy to step foot on. Looking up, you see it lead somewhere above. You and Crow make your way up the stony stairs, some red and orange leaves coloring the steps as you and him avoid a few puddles from the rain this morning. We're here. Come, it's a sight to behold. Taking one last step, you see Crow admiring whatever was beyond him, his smile bright as his eyes twinkle like the stars above. Your eyes went wide in awe upon seeing the scenery before you, replicating the one Crow has on his face. Not once did you take into consideration the idea of sightseeing within the city. Everything felt unfamiliar, intimidating even. You couldn't blame yourself for feeling so distressed about the idea of traveling, especially since you had no one else within the city to guide you. But gazing at the sea of lights that stretched out before you made you realize that you could have been missing much of what the city has to offer. Looking farther ahead, you take notice of a tall tower decorated with bright neon pink lights. A little bit to its right is a movie theater next to a mall. The rows of other buildings with multicolored lights seemed endless. The more you scan the area, the more you see unfamiliar places that you didn't know existed. Your moment of silence while admiring the city view was interrupted by the sound of rustling grass. You turn around, finding the source of the sound. Crow has made himself comfortable lying on the ground under an old tree. You see his backpack leaning on its trunk. You turn your back from the city and walk to where Crow lay, deciding to keep him company. His gaze on the starry sky shifts to you as you sit down beside him, and a hopeful smile grows on his face. Judging from your face all lighting up, you like this place, huh? Care to join me? Accepting his invitation, you give Crow a slight nod that brought joy to his eyes. You stretch a bit and lay on your back right next to him, your fingers barely touching. You and Crow look at the night sky. You observe how the stars twinkle, as if the rain from this morning never happened. How did you manage to find this place? You tilt your head to look at him, and he gives you a closed-eyed chuckle before his twinkling gaze meets yours. I take that you've never heard of Lily's myth, have you, Cece? Lily's myth? Crow points up at the old tree that stood above you, then returns his gaze to the stars. They say that this tree that the humans come in contact with was blessed by the gods that guard this land. This very same tree here used to bear multiple fruits. They say that they never rot and are free for everyone to take. Or so what the popular interpretation says anyway. There are other versions of the myth? Crow shrugs his shoulders. Moving his gaze from the sky back to the tree, he stares at it. as if trying to decipher something just by the mere look of it. There are other versions, yes. Some say the fruits are actually poisonous. Others say it's only meant for the gods, and no human must take from it lest they be cursed. That sounds quite gruesome. It's no wonder they would rather use the lighter version of the myth. Crow lets out a low chuckle at your statement, nodding a bit, as if agreeing with you. I guess that might be one of the reasons. Okay, I have to admire the art style. It is very pretty. It's disarming him to me a little bit, and that's not cool. Thank you. Hey, Cece. He pauses before speaking again. You perk an eyebrow at him. Yeah? This seems like a silly question. No, lay it on me. Tell me what it is. Do you believe in gods? This question caught you by surprise. You never thought of Crow as the religious type, more so to be interested in gods. Or maybe he's just curious by the idea of them. This may be the best moment to know for sure. I mean, personally, no. You don't? No, I don't. I believe in one's hard work. Does that count? Crow merely chuckles at your statement. With a hand resting on his chest, he shakes his head slightly as if he couldn't believe he heard you say that. I don't mind the people who believe in them. I just don't like the way some of them worship the very ground these so-called gods walked on. He scoffed. I believe that everything is made possible through everyone's efforts, be it as a team or as an individual. Their believers only give credit to those deities for everything, and it's an insult to the forgotten people who sacrifice themselves to make things happen. You recall the townsfolk who endlessly praised and worshipped your patron deity for the bountiful harvest you and your family broke sweat and tears for. You watched as the efforts of your labor were all thrown to some invisible being which, as far as you knew, returned nothing but calamities one after the other. 'Twas only a miracle. 'Twas only a miracle that you, your father, and the damned farmland are still standing, and your crops are still thriving, even after so much damage. Crow notices the way your brows furrow. He says nothing, but the look in his eyes tells you that he shares your sentiments wholeheartedly. Oh shit! So, okay, that was the right answer. Oh, now he's got a grumpy face. I wonder if he agrees whether you say yes or not. Like, if I were to tell him I do believe in gods, would I still get points? This is why we're two peas in the same pod. How about you? Do you believe in gods? You turn to Crow, repeating the same question he asked you earlier. He scans your face, your eyes, your nose, then your lips. His lingering gaze made you shrink back, your heart fluttering slightly. Crow seems to realize something to himself as he returns his attention to the stars above, sighing. I don't. This surprises you, and Crow laughs at your visible shock and confusion. What? You didn't think I'd be a non-believer? If I have to be honest, no. Why so? You kind of dress like a priest. What? Crow's azure eyes grew wide as he broke out into one of the loudest laughs you've ever heard from him. He laughed so hard that he has to clench his stomach and wipe at the tear-stained corners of his eyes. He was still chuckling when he unbuttons the first two studs of his black polo, revealing more of his collarbone to you. You quickly avert your eyes, finding the tree's leaves to be very interesting at this moment, as you feel a familiar heat rush to your cheeks. How's that? Less formal? What kind of priest have you seen that wears vests? For fuck's sake, Ichabod. It feels like I'm seeing a Victorian woman's ankles for the first time. That's good. Crow grins at your reaction. It took the both of you a few more seconds of going back and forth with his teasing and you reprimanding him before you finally calmed down. The next few moments were spent with you pointing at the stars and Crow teaching you the constellations with a gentle whisper-like voice. You both fell silent, basking in the peace of the night. As the silence prolonged, Crow fell deep in thought. About today, Cece? About the guys? So we're moving to this conversation next, huh? I've got to be honest. Daryl put me up on this little hangout while I was feeling down in the dumps. I think I do have to thank him for forcing me and actually gave me the courage to talk to you after class. He lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding, refusing to meet your eyes. I just don't know if I ever upset you by suddenly dragging you into this group. I probably should have told you about them a long time ago, huh? I'm sorry, Cece. You bit your lip. You suspected that you might have upset Crow by making him think that you didn't like the group's presence at all, and that he's forcing you to bend to his will. One thing to know about Crow is that he's never the type to demand, to control, to be a king, to be a tyrant. You didn't do anything wrong, Crow. In fact, I should be the one to apologize. You speak up without thinking. Crow turns his head to look at you, his gaze swirling with confusion at your apology. I'm sorry for making you feel bad. I didn't mean to be upset, You swallow a lump in your throat, trying your best to hold the tears that were threatening to spill. I just thought you'd forget about me after... They're amazing people. Brittany's pretty, Daryl's a fun guy, Gio's so cool, and Jess is loyal. They're a great group. And most importantly, you're amazing, Crow. You're all amazing, but not me. I'm just not sure if I could ever be part of the group. You were always hidden in the shadows, no matter how much you tried to fit in. You were never to be considered. People treated you like someone to toss away, someone to use. You were worth nothing but an extra. That's what she always tells you. You couldn't hold it back anymore. A sob escapes your lips, your vision slowly blurring as you feel wet droplets of tears finally sliding down your cheek from your eyes. For a moment, you saw panic in Crow's expression, seemingly not expecting you to burst into tears. He reaches out to hold your hand. And suddenly, you feel a pair of arms circling around you as he pulls you closer to him, letting you sob on his shoulder. He says nothing, while rubbing a hand along your back, allowing you to cry, not caring about his clothes getting wet from your tears. Once you calm down, Crow rests his hand on your back, not letting you out of his embrace. You're amazing, Cece. Thank you. I'm sorry. I never get to tell you that no matter how many times I've thought it. I just couldn't seem to find the words. But you're amazing in your own way, Cece. I have a great personality. That's what I'm hearing. You may not know it, but you're beautiful. You're funny. You're quite a phenomena. You can feel vibrations coming from his chest with the chuckle he emits. Heck, you're the funniest person I know. All I'm saying, Cece, is that you're amazing. You have no idea how much tears you've shed tonight. Sometimes you think it's silly and childish to cry over what was probably a trivial matter to some, but the urge to sob returned after hearing those words from him. Do you want me to call you the amazing Spider-Man just to prove that you're amazing? They made you giggle a bit as you wipe your tear-stained cheeks. With whatever strength you could muster, you slowly pull away and lifted yourself up. You sit yourself up, hovering above Crow. And there you see the very same man that made you cry by literally doing nothing. His braid came loose. You didn't know when, but his hair pooled around his head. Crow stares up at you with serene eyes, remaining silent as a gentle smile plastered on his face. There was nothing but the moon illuminating his tender features, yet to your vision, he seemed to glow. He is absolutely beautiful. Oh, how you wish you could blame everything on him. If you could, you'd tell him that he's the reason for all the unnecessary feelings swelling in your chest. You'd tell him exactly how good and bad it all feels, the heartaches and butterflies fluttering about your stomach. You want to blame him, but you can't. Okay, so this guy's gonna be pissed, but also I didn't like the secret things that he whispered to himself when we left. So I guess, of the two of them, I trust this guy more than the other guy. I feel like I'm being lulled into a false sense of security here, and I don't like it. Whatever. You have no idea where you got the guts to do the thing you did next, but the feeling of his lips pressed on yours made the butterflies rattle in your stomach, threatening to burst out of their cage. Your heart beats fast like you've just ran a marathon as you feel the heat rush to your cheeks. Crow freezes against you, and for a moment there, you thought you just made a huge mistake. You were prepared to pull away and apologize, but he makes a move you did not expect. The gentle grip that Crow had on the small of your back slithers its way to the back of your head, fingers entwined with your hair as he presses you closer to him, returning your kiss with a fervent sense of desperation. His other hand holds your waist in a tight embrace, not wanting to let you go. Out of your own surprise, you break the kiss by pulling away slightly. Crow chases after you, leaning in close to capture your lips in a deeper and more passionate manner than before. You feel like putty in his embrace as he cups your cheek with one hand. Okay, well, we're just making out now. All right. He eventually pulls away, a string of saliva connecting you. His breaths are heavy, matching yours, and you beheld his red face and hair messier than before. He tucks away a small strand of hair behind your ear before rubbing your cheek with his thumb. Crow scans your disheveled figure above him. You can see the way his eyes dilute the longer he keeps his gaze on your face. I knew we were going stargazing tonight, but I didn't expect the brightest star to be just in front of me. Oh, okay. Oh, we're at 10 now. We're best friends. And they were roommates. You giggled at his cheesy pickup line. God, I like you, Cece. I liked you the first time I laid my eyes upon you. I couldn't tell you because I was scared that I might lose whatever we have at the moment, that I would lose you. I couldn't bear to live a life without you. Crow, I like you too. I've liked you ever since, too. You chuckle at the silly thoughts you recall, the way you've been doubting your feelings, his feelings. His eyes grow wide, jaw falling slack as he tries to comprehend the words that came out of your lips. He blinks once, twice, before a smile as bright as the stars above appears on his face. Is this a dream? I hope not. If I'm in a dream, please tell the sleeping me to never wake up. I want to live in this dream forever. Will this convince you it's not a dream? You lean closer to his face and place a peck on his cheek. Maybe. But I think this would definitely convince me. Yeah, and then he... Oh, no! Getting at my neck. Now people will know your mind. Oh, my God, he bit me. He gave me a goddamn hickey. I did not agree to date you. We just confessed that we liked each other and we kissed. That's it. Now you're just in there fucking marking me like goddamn alpha wolf. What is this? Hey now. Crow laughs out heartily at your reaction. You simply roll your eyes. You couldn't stay mad at him. I absolutely could be mad at him for that. What the fuck? Where did that come from? Thought you were a gentleman. He dusts off the grass that sticks to his shirt before giving you a once-over and gently swatting away the leaves on your hair and clothes. You get up and Crow retrieves his bag, almost forgotten, by the tree. He looks back at you and takes your hand silently. It was time to go. It was time to leave this magical place. You look at the stars, at how brightly they shone. You gave the sky one last glance before turning away, hand clasped tightly around Crow's as you let him lead you home. Crow walks you to your apartment, noting that he kept you out late at night. You bid Crow goodbye after he safely sees you inside and gives you a wave before turning on his heel and making his way down the stairs. You close your apartment door and lean on it, heaving a puff of air. You recall the conversation you had with Crow while you walked with him on the street leading to your home. I'm going to give the guys a chance. I think I judged them too quickly. So I want to do better. I want to get to know them better. If you trust them, then I trust them too. Crow's expression was of surprise at your declaration, as your determined face reflected in his orbs. Crow chuckles at your enthusiasm, giving you a friendly pat on the head. I'm glad you're giving them a chance, Cece. I'm sure they will feel the same. You engaged in other conversations with Crow during your walk, and the topics not really being of any importance as you have forgotten them by now, save for his gentle voice and the occasional fond glances he stole at you. Time with Crow seemed to pass by so quickly, you arrive at your apartment complex before you knew it. You make your way to the living room and you throw your school bag to a random corner, immediately plopping down on your sofa as you turn on the small television. Nothing interesting is going on save for some food commercials and movie trailers. That pizza looks good. Maybe I should order something. Reaching to your pockets and taking out your phone, you are about to dial the numbers on the television when a new notification bubble popped up on your notification bar. It's from a group chat you've never seen before. After scrutinizing it, you realize that it was Crow who added you in. It was a group chat with the rest of his friends. You open it. Anyone want to go to the Halloween party this Friday? Fuck yes. Yes, and we are dressing up. It's gonna be awesome. Aren't we all a bit too old for costume parties? No, Brittney, we're not. We are of an indeterminate age. But we are at least, I'm assuming we're over 18. Have to be over 18, right? I know, also don't give a shit. Dress the fuck up. Is it required? You two are no fun at all. I won't go if it's not a school requirement, much less a waste of my time. Is it? No, it isn't. But it'll be a great and fun experience for all of us. I mean, we should loosen up a bit, you know? I agree with Crow. Count me in. Pass. I've got more important things to do than go to that party. Now, will you excuse me? I'll be doing my leftover tasks for tonight. Gio has gone offline. Bye, Gio. Sheesh, stick in the mud as usual. How about you, Cece? Me? You joining? It'll be fun. Yes! You were honestly surprised they somehow remembered you. Checking your calendar through your phone, you didn't seem to have any plans in the near future. Or no plans at all. You'd like to just spend your time in your apartment alone. Okay, so we live in an apartment alone. Like, this is our apartment. So we have to be an adult. This has to be a university, right? Like a college. Like, post-high school school. Higher education. With principal. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I just work here. I mean, sure. That's great to hear. Are we gonna do a couple's costume? Crow seemed happy about it. You giggled. This also reminds you of something. Or rather, someone. Opening another chat, you tapped in Soul's newly added contact and sent him a message by sending the image of the same poster Daryl sent. A Halloween party? Hosted by the school? Yeah. I'm not quite into parties. Oh. Oh, well, that's all right. Just asking, that's all. Wait. If you're coming, then I'm coming as well. Can I make it clear that this is not a date? Can I be like, yeah, me and a huge bunch of people are going, along with this dude that decided to fucking bite me on my neck like a vampire. Really? Really? Do you plan on dressing up? I don't know. Do you? I mean, it's a costume party, so why not? I'll try to think of something then. You swear you can feel the smile behind those words. With a quick word of goodbye, you set your phone down when you heard your doorbell. That must be the food delivery. Afterwards, you ate your dinner and prepared yourself for bed. You thought about the events that happened today. Meeting the group, meeting Soul, and most especially your little hangout with Crow. Each and every moment is a special occasion on its own. Letting out a big yawn as you stretched your body. You turned to your laundry, slowly piling up, and scratch your head. We'll probably do laundry tomorrow. But for now, you plopped yourself onto the soft cushions of your bed, getting into a comfortable position and slowly dozing off as you closed your eyes, embracing sleep as the night goes. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me, the one who loves. I was a child, she was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. The kingdom. The following day, the first thing you do is to look around for Crow. However, when you try asking some students for his whereabouts, nobody seems to know where he went. You tried sending him a message to his phone, but you never received a single reply, much less having your messages be put on read. You eventually meet up with Brittney. She seems to be one of the few people closest to Crow, so it was best to talk about him with her. Jericho? No, I haven't seen him. Do you know anyone else that might have an idea where he is? Brittney pondered for a bit with a manicured fingernail on her chin before shaking her head no. I've already asked the rest of the guys. Heck, even Gio doesn't know where he is, and that guy's close to the hip with him. But he said he's coming to school today. Don't tell me he ditched last minute. Bullshit. He would have sent me or anyone in the group a text whenever something came up. Heck, knowing that guy, he's probably sending you a text first. You deflated. Brittney gives you a worried look, trying to think of something else that could possibly help you. Maybe you should try checking the counsel's office? Taking her advice, you thank her and proceed to leave the classroom she was in. You did as Brittney suggested, but much to your dismay and frustration, not a single one in the council knows where Crow is. Oh no, he was probably taken by Soul, wasn't he? Probably stalked us, saw our little moment, saw the little, hickey on our neck and fucking murdered him. Oops. Classes eventually start, but you didn't attend. Too determined to know where Crow could have possibly been, you rack your brains as you walk all over the school grounds. You were probably too angry to realize you made it all the way to the gardens, the place where you usually work. You scratch your head from frustration. Taking out your phone, you decide to give his number a ring. I'm gonna hear his phone, aren't I? It was still dead silent. You decide to walk even deeper into the gardens. Until eventually you meet with the familiar chain fence, indicating the school campus's borders, barricading you from the forest just beyond it. You rang Crow's number one last time. It rang a few more times before cutting off. You checked your phone, thinking that he somehow finally picked up, but it was met with a disappointing notification that it was out of service. You try one last time. There's faint ringing in the distance. But it's not within the gardens. It's coming from outside. Did he get himself lost? But how? As far as I know, this place is all boarded up. Putting your phone in your pockets, you look up and stare at the metal edges of the fence, shielding your eyes from the sunlight hitting your face. You bit your lip. You could climb up, but if you fall, you'd probably have a sprain if you're not careful enough. Without wasting any more time, you start climbing the chain fence, your fingers shaking from anxiety at the imposing height upon reaching the edge. Going over the other side, you slowly make your way down, still keeping a tight hold on the fence. Whoa! Fuck! That is, until you somehow manage to slip on your footing, causing you to fall down, back first. A groan escapes your lips, your back now aching from the sudden impact of the fall, making you lie there and wait for the pain to subside a little. You pat down your pockets, reaching for your phone inside. You feel your heart drop to your stomach as you behold it. My phone! Fuck, I'm such a moron. Oh no. You curse, seeing the visible crack on the screen of your mobile device. Turning it on, you vomit another string of colorful curses as your phone screen glitched heavily before eventually turning dark. This shit is useless now. Shoving your broken phone back in your pocket, you slowly got up to your feet. You looked around. If Crow was somewhere here, then you better start looking around. Hopefully you can try to remember your way back into the campus grounds. Your heartbeat accelerates as you walk deeper into the forest. You've never been here. It was uncharted territory, so you didn't know what dangers lurked. You scan the area around you, the thicket seemingly getting thicker and harder to maneuver. You see nothing out of the ordinary, save for some overgrown bushes and vines crawling on the dirt floor. If these don't get tended to, someone will surely trip. You're about to give up your search when you notice something in the corner of your eye. The familiar shade of Crow's indigo vest, torn to pieces. You feel your heart drop. The air suddenly feels suffocating. Your legs wobble their way to the torn piece, hoping that it was some sort of hallucination or some kind of sick coincidence. But no, this is exactly Crow's vest, all torn and broken. You search around the area one last time, eyes keener than before, hoping that this might have been some kind of prank someone pulled on you, till your eyes land on a strange and broken down shed. Clenching the torn fabric close to your chest, you hastily make your way to the shed. Thoughts of Crow invade your mind as you ignore all the warnings, waving to your face. The moment you come face to face with the shed, your nose picked up on something bad. The smell of iron. The smell of blood. You rattle the wooden door open. It wouldn't budge. Fuck! Open up, motherfucker! You look around for something to pry the door open. An axe. Coincidentally, a lone axe was sticking on a tree stump. Gathering your strength, you pried it off its hinges, nearly knocking yourself down with it. Dragging the heavy axe to the front door, you swing it open, breaking the wooden door piece by piece until a hole forms into it. The smell is now stronger than it was ever before, making you scrunch up your nose. With one last blow, the door falls, the shattered piece of wood now hanging by its hinges as you enter the room. Can we talk about how fucking badass it is that we were just like, we need to get into this shed, my friend might be in there, get an axe and chop that shit down. You feel your soul leave your body. The strength from your legs disappears as you drop to your knees, the pool of blood staining your skin. The iron-smelling liquid's thick texture made you feel pure disgust as a shiver ran down your spine. Oh no. Oh, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. Oops. Yeah, he definitely followed us. He saw the whole thing. Yeah. Oh, no. No, please. Please. God, this couldn't be happening. You want to rip your heart out of your chest. You want to burn this whole forest to ash. Before you lay Crow's corpse. His head is barely attached to his shoulders, and you can clearly see the gaping injury left by something sharp on his neck. Blood drips from the deep cut, the red liquid pooling around his lifeless body. His eyes were left open, and you gaze at them, wishing, praying, and hoping that his vibrant azure orbs would smile at you again. But no, his eyes remained dull, soulless. You mutter his name over and over and over, asking him to get up, to talk to you, to tell you what happened. But he didn't. You hear footsteps behind you, accompanied by the clanking of metal before something drops to the ground. You swiftly turn around, meeting the eyes of someone you never expected to see here. Hey, soul. A pair of fiery red orbs grew wide like saucers as their owner beholds your slumped, blood-stained figure. His gaze reveals a mix of surprise, dread, and panic. Cece? No, you shouldn't be here. You need to leave. His pleas fell on deaf ears. Instead, you stare at the bloody hand axe that he dropped, his equally bloody hands and his dark shirt wet with red liquid. He reeks of blood. He killed him. He killed Crow. You killed him. Didn't you, Soul? Soul bit his tongue, refusing to answer your question as he stays put. You can see the way his jaw clenches, his expression now filled with rage. He was going to take you away from me. I've only done something I wished I'd done years ago. So you're not even going to deny it. I would never lie to you, Cece. But why? Why did you do this? Because I love you, Cece. And I'm not letting that bastard take you away from me. So much for being friends. You're mine, and mine alone. Well, the little doohickey on my neck begs to differ, sir. You were taken aback by his declaration of love towards you. You left a disgusting taste in your mouth. How dare he taint the word love? How dare he throw it around like it's an object? You monster. What? You lunge at him, aiming for his neck and pushing him down on the dirt. He claws at your hands, not expecting your sudden strength as you unbuckle his choker, pulling on the strap and using it to choke him. What a fucking badass we are. Badass. I love it. Choke you with your own choker, bitch. You mean nothing to me. I don't even know you. You love me? I loved him. He was everything to me. He was my savior, my first love, my everything. What do you know about me? You must pay for what you've done. Soul couldn't muster a single word as you kept pulling on the strap around his neck. Your vision fills with red as your desire to take revenge overwhelms you. The strength in his hands weakens as Soul loses air. And soon you felt something sharp, something painful. You look down expecting to see your successful revenge through your classmate's soulless face, but the light remains in his eyes. Instead, it is filled with horror. You cough. Blood seeps through your lips. You look further down and see a sharp blade through your chest. The object swiftly disappears after someone pulls it out of your body. Blood slowly gushes out of your wound. You feel someone push you down. A pair of hands moves your body. You couldn't care less as you stare at the dusty ceiling of the worn-out shed, your vision slowly darkening. From the corner of your eye, you can make out the blurry figure of the man you've come to befriend the day before. A few droplets of something wet splatters on your cheek. He's crying. Cece, stay. No, please, stay with me. Another figure enters your fading vision and Soul takes notice of them. You recognize the blade in their grasp as they wipe it clean of your blood. Your killer. Soul gets into an argument with the guy, his muffled screams reprimanding them. You can barely hear the person's responses as they calmly speak to Soul. Keeping your eyes open is getting tiring. Breathing is getting tiring. With one last breath, you flutter your eyes closed. And the last thing you hear are these exact words. No witnesses. Who's that? No witnesses. Who was that? I like that there's Soul and then others. This is the motherfucker that stabbed me. Who are you? Who are you? He is Soul's one and only best friend. Well, tell Soul to get his shit together. Okay, so I'm made all the same choices, except this time, instead of kissing him, I'm going to hug him and then see if that changes his impending death. You didn't feel as bad as before, but your vessel was not completely empty yet. Somehow just looking at Crow, at the comfort he brought you, made you want to bask in it longer until you were sure you had no tears left to shed. Leaning down once more, you bury your face in the crook of his neck, and his arms instinctively wrap around you, his hug warm and soothing as he waits for you to gather your thoughts. Crow rubs circles on your back, a silent way of telling you that he was there, you were not alone, and that he'd be there whenever you needed him. He didn't say a word, understanding that you need silence more than anything right now. You couldn't thank him enough for always knowing what you needed. You have no idea exactly how long you remained in that embrace while lying down on the grass, but you feel a lot better that you are ready to get back up on your feet. You pull away, meeting Crow's eyes that seem to ask after your well-being. Fixing his collar, he turns to you. Are you good to go? You could read that just from his gaze. You nod slightly, and it's only then that Crow completely releases you from his embrace, helping you sit up before he dusts off the grass that stuck to his shirt. He gives you a once-over and gently swats away at the leaves on your hair and clothes. You blink at him. He only smiles at you. Okay, so he gets his bag. He takes your hand. He takes you home. Okay, day 2 opens differently. The sun setting by the horizon colors the grassy fields into a deep golden orange as the wind made some strands of hair brush across your face. Your ever-beloved home, the tall grass, the fresh air, the various farm animals that you and your family raised since you were but a mere child. You can't even imagine what was happening before you right now as a group of people came while they talked with your father. Your only family member left. You see the distress in your father's eyes as he tries his best to negotiate with the people before him, the desperation in his voice, the sweat running down his neck as he moves around his hand, gesturing this and that. Please, just give me more time. I promise I can pay up. This is all we have left. I don't know where else to go if we lose this farmland. We've given you enough chances already, Mr. Summers. If you don't pay up your debt, we will take your land. Well, that's not good. You feel someone shaking you awake. You sat up and met face to face with Crow. Well, good morning, Sleeping Beauty. He made it. He's alive. He didn't get murdered. You let out a yawn. You rubbed your eyes as you looked around. Your fellow classmates are now gone from their seats, as it's now time for lunch. What did I miss? Nothing important, though if you're having doubts, I can lend you my notes afterwards. Thanks, Crow. You're a lifesaver. Anything for you, Cece. You recalled the little dream you had. You quickly shake it off as you let out a stretch, popping a few joints before you got up and went out of your classroom with Crow in tow. You met up with your group of friends, seeing Daryl with Gio and Crow waiting by the lockers, Brittney coming along behind them, and Jess. You waved at them. Good noon to you all. Regards, Daryl. How was the class? Boring and boring. So glad to be out of there. One more useless minor and I'll be out of here. Gio just shrugged, a hand in his hoodie pocket while the other on his phone. We got to at least do something in our major today, though, which I'm glad about. More papers, but at least it was something. Enough about papers. So about the Halloween party. Any ideas for a costume yet? As they talked with each other, at the corner of your eye, you noticed a familiar figure. It was Sol. He came out of a classroom and another person came afterwards behind him, seemingly bored out of his mind. I'll call him over. Like, I still want to stay neutral, you know? Well, no, yeah, I'll call him over. Not sparing the group a moment, you make sure you're where Sol is. Sol instantly notices you by the visible smile making his way to his face. His companion notices change in attitude and turns his face to where you are. Hi there. You're friends with Sunny? Sunny? Sunny! He pats Sol at the back, causing the taller male to jerk slightly forward. Sol gives him an irritated look, observing the way his face is slowly turning red. You know, 'cause he's such a sunshine. He's Sunny. You let out a small giggle, shifting your eyes towards Sol as he catches your gaze on his. Upon landing eye contact, Sol quickly averts his gaze away from yours, holding up his hand as he tries his hardest to hide his face away. Like a nickname? Yes, Sunny loves the nickname I gave him. Right, Sunny? Sol remains silent, still refusing to meet your gaze. That's adorable. For a moment, the three of you were silent before the shorter male speaks up once more. You sure have taste, Sunny. She's very pretty, like you said. That's so embarrassing, bro. And also, you stabbed me in the chest, so you can fuck right off. A blush makes its way to your face. Scratching the back of your head, you bit your bottom lip as you let out a small thank you. Anyway, nice to meet you. My name's Hugo? Hugo? Like Hugo, but with a Y? Hugo? I think I'm this big old grumpy's best friend. You are a little fuck. Cece, a pleasure to meet you too. That's how I say it. A pleasure. It's not. He extends his hand for you to take, and which you merely accept, shaking it and puts it back to his side, a smile on his face as he did so. Then you hear a group of footsteps behind you. Hugo first noticed the group behind you as he raised his head to meet one of their gazes. There you are, Cece. You just ran off like that. I got kind of worried. You with these people, Cece? Oh, that's right. Sorry for running off like that. Yeah. Sol, Hugo, these are my friends. You turned your body to face Crow and the others while your gaze is still fixed on the duo. Crow gives the two a smile and a small wave. Daryl came up first, extending his hand for one of the two to take. Nice to meet you. I'm Daryl, and if you haven't heard yet, I'm the ace of your school's football club, he said with a smile. Hugo took his hand with a shake. Following up is Brittney. She just stares with a hand on her hip while Jess was twiddling her fingers as she stuck close to Brittney's side. Hey, how's it going? Hello. Between Brittney, Jess, and Daryl, it seems that only the tall jock is the most enthusiastic out of all of them in this newfound friendship. I'm Hugo. I've heard about you, Daryl. Nice to meet you too. Thankfully, Hugo returned the same energy as the jock. This is going to be really embarrassing if this is not how you pronounce his name, because I sure have to say it a lot. I'm Jericho, but people call me Crow. Nice to make your acquaintance. Crow also handed out his hand for Sol to shake. However, Sol did not take it. There was slight awkwardness in the air between the two males, making Crow slowly retrace his hand back. Probably meant retract. No way! The atmosphere between the two, however, was cut short when Hugo gave a loud gasp and marched towards Gio, who was way behind the group, a visible scowl on his face. Gio's eyes darkened as he tried to step back, but Hugo was quick on his feet as he engulfed the taller male into a hug. Oh, what does that mean? It means long time no see. He said, it's a hassle. I didn't want to see your ugly face the entire day. No, the entire semester. but my luck seems to be slipping. Hey now, that's not a nice way to greet your brother. Another loud gasp was heard. This time it came from Daryl. He points at Geo, quite a bit dramatically. You have a brother, Geo? Ah, great, another one. That's big brother to you. Everyone's attention was now on the three of them. Brittney seemingly amused by Geo's newfound dilemma. Crow just chuckled while Jess was surprised as well. Oh, right. Hugo started, finally letting go of Geo, the said male cursing under his breath as he composed himself and fixed his now ruffled hair as he walked towards you. We were actually going up to the rooftop for lunch today. We were hoping that you would like to come with us, he says, now standing beside Sol. Sol looks at you with anticipation. You? I'm pretty committed to staying with the group, right? But, like, can I just invite them to come with me? Because I promised Crow that I would try to give them a chance. So, right? You give Hugo a sad smile. I'd love to join you, but I'd like to stay with them for today, if that's all right. Hugo gives you a sad smile of his own before nodding his head, failing to notice how one of Sol's eyes twitched. Aw, that's all right, Cece. Just hit us up if you ever want to hang out, okay? You nodded, and he gave you an enthusiastic thumbs up. Fuck off. Before you could turn to Sol to apologize to him too, Hugo quickly dragged him away. You notice how his strides were slow and hesitant as Hugo drags him away. You shrugged before returning with Crow and the rest of the group. You inhale the familiar scent of fresh earth. A few leaves dance around the air, guided by the winds of autumn. Before you stands the school's own greenhouse. The greenhouse where multiple healthy greens and colorful flora grow. This place is usually occupied by biology and botany students, with the occasional science teacher watching over them. You worked a lot of odd jobs for the school to lessen your student loan expenses. Your duties range from being a janitor to a teacher's assistant, but none of your positions would last as long as you hoped for, because you always found yourself somehow getting in trouble for some sort of mess you made. You felt hopeless until your advisor recommended placing you in the greenhouse. With your background and knowledge relating to plants, you thought maintaining the greenhouse was a perfect fit. You've been working here ever since. Oftentimes, you think you understand the layout of the place, that you practically know the area like the back of your hand, but every day you seem to discover a new corner that you've never been to before. Sometimes you're not even sure if you're within campus grounds anymore. It's probably because of the forest that stretched beyond this area. Anyway, there's a large fence preventing you from crossing the border, so you never really bothered to explore unless you want to get in trouble or be accused of slacking off. For now, you wanted to show your group of friends the new discovery that you've made while on duty last week. There's a field with a large tree right around the corner. It can make for a perfect shade for our little picnic. You exclaim, earning a look of approval from Brittney, almost as if she's impressed. The rest of the cast follow behind as you lead them to your destination. You hear some gasps of awe behind you. Daryl chuckles heartily in delight. Crow hums, feeling pleasant, and you hear Brittney saying, "Interesting." They are clearly amazed at the field before them, and it fills you with pride knowing you were able to impress them. Well, come on. The field's great, especially to lie in. Let's see what? Let's see what we have here. Owie! Not yet. Brittney slapped Daryl's hand away from the basket before he could raid the whole thing, making him wince and pout. Calm your ass down. You'll have a turn. At this point, I'll have to charge you all the time y'all hit me. Are you some sort of masochist? Daryl gave Geo a side eye. Brittney shook her head while Jess just giggled. It was a cute little get-together that Brittney planned last night. She wanted to make a few sandwiches, so she prepared lots of varieties. On the blanket were a few Tupperwares with some of the sandwiches inside while the rest were eaten. Everyone got their fair share already. By now, everyone is just minding their own business. Daryl is having the time of his life with 2 sandwiches in both of his hands. Brittney and Jess are talking. Geo is a bit further away from the group, leaning on the bark of a tree, seemingly lost in thought. And Crow is nowhere to be seen. Damn it, I thought he'd be spared. Damn it! Let's talk to Geo. You were quite hesitant to approach Geo at first. You always saw him as someone quite intimidating. More intimidating than Brittney. It's probably the way he carries himself. His towering height isn't helping either. and it seems like you've been staring at him for too long. He stopped chewing on his sandwich as his gaze met yours. You shivered. What do you want? I have questions. Hurry up and spit it out. You and Hugo know each other? His eye twitched. I think you hit a sensitive nerve. I don't, and I don't want to associate myself with him. Whatever he said back in the hallway, forget about it. Is that so? I don't blame you. He's a little fuck. If that's all you have to say to me, then leave. Wait. Actually, I'm curious as to why do you hang out with us? I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just that I'm curious. You don't seem the type to... His piercing gaze made your voice die down. You cursed under your breath. Fuck. I think this is it for me. I get it. But you wouldn't understand. Leave me to my devices. Now. He demanded before wrapping the half-eaten sandwich he had in his hand and throwing it towards you. He threw a sandwich at me? You caught it, nearly losing your balance. And give that to Daryl. I just lost my appetite. Gio then crossed his arms and looked up at the sky, the chilly autumn breeze passing by him, making his long hair sway along with his washy earrings. You take a look at the wrapped half-eaten sandwich in your hand. I guess I'll never know. You sigh. Well, we tried, right? What happens if I try to talk to him again? He just doesn't want to talk to me. Okay. I have to try. All right, here, Daryl. Here's your sandwich. Daryl seems to be the least busy out of everyone. You approached his sitting figure as he took a seat in front of him, one sandwich gone from his hand as he munched on the other one on his other hand. He notices you and stops eating, tucking away the sandwich and placing all of his attention on you. Here. You took out the half-eaten sandwich you got from Gio and handed it to him. He tilted his head to the side. You can't finish yours? It's from Gio. Really now? Not gonna lie, that's quite uncharacteristic of him. Usually he would either finish it or throw it away. Not that I'm complaining, though. Thanks, Cece. Daryl thanked you with a smile and took the half-eaten sandwich from your hands before tucking it away. You got something to ask, Cece? Yeah, let's ask about Gio, what the fuck his problem is. What are your thoughts on Gio? Daryl smiled as he leaned a bit forward. Now, Gio's my favorite guy, even if he's a bit of a meanie at times. What makes you stick to him? Isn't he mean to you, like you said? Daryl's smile brightened as his eyes went soft. He side-eyed the male by the tree who had his arms crossed. Gio's attention was somewhere else. People are scared of him. It's probably because of his background. What about it? The thing is, no one really knows what his family does other than the fact that they're super rich and are highly involved with the founder of the city. People have seen him with his bodyguards, all rugged and tall and very intimidating. Heck, I even saw one with a huge katana on their backs. You shivered. Clearly, you don't want to deal with them. But what makes you not scared, Daryl? I mean, you clearly know what his family and himself is capable of. You see, Cece, I'm not really scared of him. On the outside, he's all stubborn and cruel, but on the inside, he's a really nice guy. Think of him like, He pursed his lips, thinking a bit. Like a stubborn cat. You glanced back at Gio one more time. You are seeing the cat ears and the tail, all right. Now that you think about it, with this vision based on Daryl's declaration, Gio does not seem quite intimidating anymore. How cute. Then you hear a sigh from Daryl. You returned your attention to him, an elbow on his leg as he held his face in his hand. Which begs me to wonder how he ended up being in the lower class with us. The low class? How do we have things like that? Oh? You don't know about the hierarchy? You shook your head no, and Daryl scratched the back of his head. Oh, damn, Cece. Almost everyone knows about it. Okay, well, I fucking don't, so well, I don't blame you, since no one really likes bringing that type of subject up. I think either Crow or Jess would like to explain it to you. Just not Brittney. She gets riled up when it's mentioned. You nod an understanding, and Daryl gives you a smile. Anyway, you got something to ask? Okay, ask about him. I would like to know more about you, Daryl. Daryl rubbed the back of his head. Quite embarrassed you thought about him. Well, aren't you a flatterer? Where should I start? He thought for a while, his legs crossed, while you waited for him as he pondered. Well, I am the ace of my football club. I hate my coach, but don't tell him that. I love food. Like, lots. My most favorite would be sweets. If you ever got any on you, smuggle me some, will you? He says with a wink and a nudge. Other than that, I guess that's pretty much it. You got something to ask me? I mean, that's it. You play football and you like food. Okay. What do you think about Jess? At the mention of Jess's name, Daryl's whole face turned red as he started sweating. What about her? I don't know. I'd like you to tell me. What do you think about her? Daryl's cheeks just keep getting redder and redder for a moment. His gaze turned to where Jess and Brittney were. He sighs as he looks away. Jess is the sweetest human being I've ever met. Oh, does he have a crush on her? Oh? Ugh, but don't tell anyone. I trust you with this because Crow trusts you, okay? All right. I don't know what the big fuss is, but I promise I won't tell. You raised your hands in surrender. The taller jock deflated on his spot, his shoulders down along with his mood. But, yeah. She's sweet, she's pretty, she's cute. While some would make fun of me, she's always there to give me a pat on the back. He groans, doubling over. His expression seems like he wants to throw up as he buried his face in his hands. But I doubt she likes me back. You tilted your head, wondering why he thinks that way. What makes you say that? The way she looks at Brittney. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that her and Brittney were together. Don't you think that's the look of someone in love? At that, your eyes widened in surprise. You quickly turned your head to where the two girls were. The eyes behind the transparent frames looked like the fresh citrus oranges in summer. They were bright, and they were fresh for the picking, for Brittney. I know because that's the same look I gave her when I first met her. And it's the same look I see on Crow when he looks at you. He twirled a loose strand from his bangs and looked away from the two girls and focused on your surprised figure. I hate it, but I love seeing that look on her face. I wish it was on me, though. I'm sorry, Daryl. He chuckled a bit. It's all right. Maybe one day I'll confess just to get it off my chest. All I want is to see her happy, even if it's not with me. Anyway, enough of this sad shit, Cece. You got something to ask? That's so sad. Aw. Daryl gives you a proud smile. Brittney, she's my first friend back when I was new to the football team. You'd be surprised that she used to be in the cheer squad despite her being quite introverted. She was? Daryl's bright smile softened, a small gloomy look in it. He was trying so hard to hide it, but was failing. Yeah. She quit right after the game's big frat party 2 years ago. That party was something else since the higher classes were also a part of it. The following day, she suddenly quit. I don't know why, though. Not quite worth thinking about the past anyway. I guess. What happened to her? Let's talk about Crow. What do you think about Crow? At the mention of the blue-eyed friend of his, Daryl gives you a toothy grin as he wiggles his eyebrows. You want jits on your little crushy. What jits? What does that mean? What's a jit? Shut up. I just admire him, okay? Daryl laughed and stopped his teasing, saving you from further embarrassment. Crow is quite an individual. All I know is he's the son of a very successful businesswoman in the city, though I heard he doesn't have a great relationship with his family. What makes you say that? Daryl thought for a bit, but judging from his expression, he couldn't understand why either. I don't know either, Cece. You should ask Crow for that if you want to learn more. I see. Don't worry, Cece. I'm sure he'll do anything that you ask for. He gives you a playful wink. You rolled your eyes, but gave him a smile nonetheless. Thank you for answering my questions, Daryl. Anytime, Cece. You're one of us now, so open up a little. You got something to ask? No, that's it. Daryl gives you a smile before nodding. Okay, let's talk to Jess then? Jess was admiring the few orange leaves slowly falling from the tree. The slow descent of a leaf catches her attention before gracefully catching it with her delicate fingers. She notices you approaching her. She dropped the leaf before giving her full attention to you. Yes, Cece? What seems to be the problem? Oh, there's nothing, actually. I just want to talk to you and ask a few questions. Then by all means, go ahead. I'll try my best to answer them. You have questions? Yeah. Where's Crow? Jess's eyebrows furrowed and she shakes her head. I don't think I know where Crow is. Maybe you should ask Brittney. Maybe she knows. You thanked her. What about Gio? Jess's shoulders started shaking at the mention of the tall and stoic individual. I hate to be one of those people, but he actually scares me. Have you seen how capable he is with his bow and arrow? No? Is he actually really that good? I only know he's from the archery club. Oh, then you should definitely attend the sports event next year. Gio is going to compete, and the higher classes will be there to determine if the students are worth bringing up. Another shiver went up her spine. She wrapped her arms around herself. A bad memory crosses her mind. But whenever that happens, Gio seems to somehow miss his target and nearly hit someone with his arrow. What the fuck? Thankfully, it only cut the guy's hair and nothing else. He got disqualified, sadly, but it was enough for me to not mess with him. How is he not in jail? You try to rack up your brain for a reason why he's in school and not behind bars. Because he's rich as shit. However, Jess cuts you off before you can think any further. Enough of that. Because he's rich as shit, that's why. At the mention of Daryl, Jess's face went bright. This is probably the first time you've seen her smile without shaking like a lost lamb. Oh, Daryl? He's an amazing friend. He keeps me safe and I owe it up to him quite a lot. Friend. Amazing friend. Damn. Though I do feel bad for him most of the time. Brittney and Gio tease him way too much. Jess chuckled, looking at the jock sitting under the tree before returning back to you. He's a funny guy. I remember back then when I made the mistake of giving him a bowl filled with candy last year's Halloween. He did tell me he likes sweets. Why? What's wrong with giving him candy? Well, he gets sugar rush pretty quickly and gets super hyper. Brittney tried so hard in calming him down. Can you imagine? A 6-foot-tall jockey going around like a playful puppy? I bet Brittney didn't have a fun time. Jess nodded with a closed smile at you. You have questions to ask me? Yeah, what do you think about Brittney? Upon mentioning the... What? What does that mean? It's a fashion subculture in Japan. Brittney's head turned to the both of you. She didn't say anything, but raised a brow. She tilted her head to the side. You called for me? Nothing, Britt. Jess quickly shooed her best friend away. Brittney shrugged before continuing on with her own business. Jess lets out a sigh of relief as a small tint of red raises to her cheeks. Jess looked down at her skirt, fiddling with her pink wristband as her heartbeat quickened. Britt, she's my best friend, my very best friend, and I would do anything to see her happy again. She pushed back her glasses and looked at you. And there you saw the sparkles. Her smile is soft, and you can tell. Jess, do you like Brittney? She was hesitant before looking down, nodding as she did so, still fiddling with her pink wristband. Promise not to tell? I promise. Thank you, Cece. This will be just between the two of us. Besides, she gives you a big smile. I'll keep your oh-so-secret crush towards Crow a secret, too. She giggled at your surprised look at the mention of Crow. You rubbed the back of your head as you pouted. I guess that's it. Bye, girl. It was wonderful talking to you, Cece. You should hang out with us more. Okay. So did she get this wristband from Brittney? Because that would be adorable. All right. Brittney was minding her own business, seemingly tapping away on her phone. You were kind of shy to come any closer to her. But before you can turn and leave, however, she called out to you. She must have seen you from the corner of her eye. Hey, Cece, come here. Don't be a stranger now. You clearly want to talk. Let me guess. Were the sandwiches great? Yeah, they were great. No reason to be mean. She smiled at your response. I'm glad you liked them, Cece. Anyway, enough of my sandwiches. You have something to tell me? Have you seen Crow? I think I saw him go deeper in the gardens, Brittney said with a raise of her eyebrows. Let me guess. You want to finally confess your undying feelings for him? What makes you think that? Wow. I'm not sure who's denser, him or you. Whatever. If you need him, he's probably in the greenhouse. Brittney gives you a thumbs up, mouthing a good luck. As if I'm confessing, you thought with a pout. Brittney just gives you a teasing smirk. Anyway, enough of that. What about Daryl? Brittney just chuckled. You mean that meathead? He's an idiot, she says with a smile. And then she sighed. She shakes her head at the thought of the tall jock. He's an idiot, but he's a smart idiot. I'll give him that. He's like a brother to me. It just baffles me how he barely has any friends. How the school fails us. She shakes the idea before returning her attention back to you. Okay, what about Gio? Brittney raised an eyebrow. Don't tell me you got the hots for him. Nothing of the sort. What makes you think that? I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you do. If you can see how his locker is often filled with multiple love letters and gifts from various people, then I wouldn't be surprised. He's that popular? A loner like him? You'd be surprised. Tall, mysterious, and dangerous. Everyone just flocks to him like birds. But people are scared to even get close to him. So the next best thing they can do is send him gifts. They never succeed, though. Is he somehow overwhelmed by the attention? Not really overwhelmed, more like he's uninterested. He either doesn't read the letters and tosses them, or he burns them. He burns them? That's so mean, and a waste of gifts, too. Brittney just laughed, her shoulders shaking. That's Gio to you. How do you know all of this? Brittney giggled before giving you a wink as she pressed a manicured finger on her lips as if to shush you. I know a lot of secrets. Anyway. Okay. Don't think I don't see the orange wristband on your wrist, ma'am. You need to just hurry up and date her, please. Upon hearing her name, Jess's head turned to where you both were. Brittney dismissed her, telling her it's nothing for her to worry about before turning back to you. Jessie? She's my best friend. She smiled as she looked at the orange band on her wrist. My very best friend. When no one was there to help me, she was there. You'd be surprised how confident and loud she is when she's mad. Brittney chuckled a bit as if reminiscing a fond memory. I owe it all to her for bringing me back up during those dark times. But enough of the past. Oh, does she not like her like the same? You should. You should kiss. No, it's fine. Alright, I guess we gotta go find, Crow. She stretches her limbs, letting out a few satisfying pops. She places a hand on her hip. I'll be cleaning a bit. I'll talk to you later. You don't want any help? No thanks. I appreciate the thought, though. Okay. Well, let's go look for Crow, then. You've pretty much talked with everyone here, and they all seem to be busying themselves. You looked around the garden before moving in deeper into the red autumn wonderland. As you kept moving forward, you were greeted by the greenhouse. Through the transparent glass, you spot a familiar head of brown. You went inside the greenhouse and saw Crow go through each plant and flower, analyzing each delicate leaf and petal. Noticing he's not alone, he turned to where you were and smiled. Oh, there you are, Cece. What brings you here? I would say the same thing to you. Well, I haven't really explored this place properly before, so why not take that chance? You never been here? Crow shakes his head. Never got the time to visit. Crow chuckles. You meet his gaze, and he gives you a soft smile. His gaze lingered a bit before going around. Then he found something that caught his attention. Now this is a pretty-looking flora. What do you think it is? You looked at the brush of flowers filled with purple flowers. Their petals thin as it showcases its full bloom. This is a passion flower. Fascinating. Tell me more about it. Well, it's a climbing vine plant. Usually its colors are purple or white. Once flowers bloom, passion fruits will bear itself. Usually a volunteer will come and harvest the fruits. That sounds interesting, Cece. Don't ingratiate yourself into my interests. Stop it. It makes me feel even more guilty when he gets stabbed in the neck. This poor guy. But that's the scientific way to describe this flower. How about its meaning? You tilted your head to the side. What do you mean? How do I say this? He places a hand under his chin. In astrology, each star has a meaning behind it. Same goes with gemstones, like your birthstone. Flowers have those as well, correct? I never really thought of it. Crow gives you a cheeky smile. It's interesting. Passion flowers symbolizes hope and growth. I love seeing the hopeful looks on people. Then why ask me if you already knew? He says as he looks at the flowers before you both. Hope. Something this city needs. I want to get rid of the hierarchy. Daryl mentioned something about that. Actually, everybody did, but how come I never heard of it? What is it about? Nobody mentioned it except for Daryl. What are you talking about? I don't know what are you talking about? I asked every single question. I never got to explain it to you, huh? I guess now's the perfect time since they're quite active in interacting with us in the lower class again. He looks out. Our school, Olympias University, has 2 buildings with 2 different classes. One is where we are at the moment, the lower class, while around the northern part of the city is where the higher classes go. Their education is 10 times better, the facilities are better, and the students are way out of our league. He hesitates a bit in voicing his thoughts of the students in the higher class. Though I highly doubt that, he added, his eyes narrowed. Calling it lower class is kind of low, in my opinion. I call them villagers, humble people. They're either really kind or either too busy to bother. There was a hint of hesitation in his voice. Well, not all. Failed students in the higher class often end up here with us. And well, they don't really take it well. Which explains the bullying situation. Krau's brows slanted downward, disgusted by the idea. The fact that he can't do anything is irritating him. How come no one tried to file a report or something? People tried. I tried. We tried. But unless you either have money or a higher reputation, heck, even both, they'll bother to even listen. They won't bother to even listen? Crow sighs. Which is why some students try their hardest to get up the ranks, to be part of the higher class. All of that, just to be respected? Crow didn't say anything to you, but nodded. Crow lets out a sad laugh. The system is kind of a if you feel it thing. You don't really feel it, much less see it, unless you've been at its mercy. It's a dog-eats-dog world out there, Cece. You never know who is the next victim. A soft, sad smile made its way on his face, which is why I strive to protect you. Both of those sound so... You were left to your thought process, to what Crow told you about the newfound information. This probably explains the bullying and how the school is handled. Your position in the city is just a second priority. Heck, maybe not even a priority at all. But I pay for it? I pay for this? Shitty education? That means if I ever want to keep my family's farm up, I have to make it up there? Crow nodded before continuing. Once you're up there, you'll have a better life. You'll be respected. You'll be rich. People would do as you tell them. That's messed up. Did people ever protest? Crow, however, did not answer, as if scared that someone would hear him. He remained quiet, only giving you a look that probably says that things did not go well. You refused to ask for more elaboration. That reminds me, Cece. Crow starts. You never told me as to how or why you chose this university. Your family owns farms, correct? You bit your lip as you thought of home. We do, but I wouldn't say we're doing well. I'm sorry to hear that. It's okay, really. It's my burden to carry and not yours. And I'm going to work hard for it. Anything. I'll do anything. Your eyes widen at the words that the well-dressed man said. No, I refuse. Cece, I thought I told you to stay in. You are not taking this farm. My home. You cut your father's words off, marching towards the tall man with loud and heavy footsteps. The tall man, however, raised a brow at you, raising his hand to halt his men. His deep magenta eyes then turned to look straight into your eyes. It sent a chill down your spine. Whoa, a bit feisty seeing that this is our first time meeting, right? Let me introduce myself first. My name is... But you may call me Mr. Z. What? And as for our little agenda, how about this, little lamb? If you manage to pay off your debt for the next 5 years, I'll let you off the hook. I'll let you keep your land. 5 years? You can handle that. Maybe working 3 jobs will do it for you. He tuts, waving a finger in front of your face. He looks down at you, reminding you of your place, a mischievous smile appearing on his handsome features. But I have some conditions you need to meet. You went silent. Your heart starts pounding in your chest as you keep eye contact with his sharp magenta orbs. You can't have sharp orbs. That's not it. I want you to stay in the city. The city? But we can't even afford to take her to college. What more, moving in the city? Your father interrupts the man mid-sentence. The man merely gives your father a side glance, making the old man freeze on his feet before returning his gaze back to you. No need to worry. She'll be under my jurisdiction, of course. I'll provide for her education and accommodation. Suddenly he burst out in laughter, throwing his head back a bit as if he'd heard a very funny joke. See? I'm not that cruel. Wouldn't you agree, Cece? Well, if he's paying for it, then why am I paying for school? Because I said I had student loans and I was working in the gardens to help pay off my student loans, so... But just like I said before, I want you to pay off your debt. Land doesn't come in cheap, darling. And I've been very patient with how long this land's payment has been postponed. A sudden jerk on your collar made your heart jump, his face now mere inches away from yours, his brows furrowed in anger and filled with spite. Cece, not one step, old man. He screams at your father, not sparing him a glance as he kept his hold on your collar. You tried to claw his hands away from it, but to no avail, seeing that you are losing more air the more you struggle. Listen here, punk. I don't care what kind of method you're going to do in order to make money. A dark smile appeared on his face. It sends a shiver down your spine. Being a good citizen and getting a part-time job like the rest, or whore yourself out in strip clubs. Legal or illegal. I don't fucking care. As long as you reach the amount. If not, well, you can say goodbye to your little farmland. He says that, but there was a gleam in his eye that's telling you that that's not all. Letting go of your collar, he steps back as you greedily take in the air that you lost, tears making its way towards your eyes, threatening to drop. So, little fawn, what's it going to be? You bit the bottom of your lip. You turned to look at your father. His eyes were clearly telling you to decline. You didn't want to comply to this man's words, much less take his offer. You think he might throw you another form of debt for letting him fund you to go to the city. There was something about this man that screams dangerous. But you were too desperate to not lose your home. Your only home. Tick-tock, sweet thing, I haven't got all day. The tall man's gaze still fixed on you, waiting for your answer. Do you accept? But you're nearing the end of the school year, and you cannot afford to go back again, not with this debt. Credits alone isn't enough to cut it. Whenever you think about it, you keep seeing the tall man's ever-sharp magenta eyes burning into you. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth and a stinging feeling in your chest. Your heart ached as you stare back into Crow's own azure eyes. Are you all right there, Cece? You zoned out a bit. If I get to be part of the higher class, then I can have a better chance in life, right? Crow was surprised at your sudden enthusiasm, but nodded regardless. That's right. As you gave Crow a reassuring smile, you clenched your fist. Then I'll work hard to show those higher class that I am worth their time. Crow chuckles and nods. You know that he's got your back. Then Crow raised his hand and tucked a loose strand behind your ear. You sensed him placing something soft, and you reached out to touch what felt like petals. That looks good on you. What is it? Crow then leads you to a nearby pond. You looked and saw your reflection. On your hair is a red carnation. Oh, I didn't know carnations grew here. Crow only chuckled, fixing the flower in your hair. Then Crow was silent, basking in your presence. His expression then went dim, as if something's bothering him. You took notice, of course. Is something the matter, Crow? He blinked once, twice. He averted his gaze, a bit hesitant to speak up. You grabbed his hand to reassure him that it's fine. He sighs as he speaks. Your friend. My friend? The tall one in green. What are your thoughts on him? Soul? He's just a classmate, bro. Don't worry about it. Crow's eyebrows raised. Is that so? Yeah. Besides, he's my partner for art class, so I'm basically stuck with him until the projects are done. I see. Crow nodded. He didn't say anything afterwards. However, his gaze was far, pondering something before shaking it off from his mind. Crow looks around for a while, basking in the various beauties of flora. What do you think carnation means? You tilted your head, making sure the said flower doesn't fall from your head as Crow continued on with his talk. Passion flower means hope, while carnations mean... I couldn't seem to remember. What do you think it means, Cece? You thought for a while, knowing some carnations are to be found in bouquets. Well, it has to be something romantic, They're often a perfect gift to family and loved ones. Why would you give it to your family if it's romantic? Is that so? I might have to look up what it means then. Your eyes met his, and for a moment his gaze lingered. Were his eyes always this blue? You've never noticed before. The way his lashes flutter and touch his cheeks when he blinks. His plump lips are always glistening whenever sunlight hits them. His eyes went half-lidded as he leaned closer and closer. And, as if in a trance, your eyes slowly start to close. Okay, so this is another opportunity to get him murdered, I guess. Sorry, Crow. As if you lost control of your body and it started moving on its own. You leaned in closer as well. Your eyes now closed, feeling his breath near your own lips as he draws closer and closer. Oh! Damn it, Brittney! Ugh! Your eyes pop open and you quickly backed away. Crow backed away as well as he waved to Brittney. Brittney just raised a brow at the both of you before shrugging it off and leaving the greenhouse. Crow sighed, seemingly disappointed before giving you his hand for you to take. We should get going. You pouted at the moment, ruined, before accepting his extended hand and left the greenhouse with Crow. You and the rest of the group got back inside the campus. Everyone already went to their respective classes. I'm going to head back first. I'll see you in class, Cece. Of course. Crow didn't walk away just yet. He stood there for a while, contemplating something before shaking his head and walking away, a tint of red touching the tips of his ears as he walked. Just by the corner of your eye, you spotted two familiar-looking individuals that saw the whole thing. It was Sol and Hugo. Sol noticed you first and went to you, a noticeable skip in his steps. Cece. Hey, Sol. Hey, Hugo. Are you both heading to your next class? Hugo laughed, a hand on his chest, as if you told him a very funny joke. Actually, I have a better idea. Let's skip class. Skip class? Yeah, it'll be fun. Oh. Sol gave Hugo a punch on his ribs, making the shorter male choke out the words he was supposed to say as he doubled over and clutched his stomach. Let's ditch. Hugo just gave him a glare. Sol ignored him as he anticipated your answer. Hanging out with these two sounds fun, but you remember your next class with Crow. Maybe you can. I mean, listen, if it stops Crow from getting murdered, maybe we should. Okay, we'll skip class with them. You know what? Why not? I did say I'd like to get to know you better, new friend. You give Sol a playful nudge on his shoulder. He smiled as he rubbed the area where you nudged him. All right, Sol, lead the way. Without wasting any more time, Sol leads the way, going through the back side of the school near the gardens. It's the picnic area. The edges, of course, were barricaded by a tall iron fence. Sol finds a bush and pushes it aside, revealing a gaping hole. Well, that's quite convenient. Did you make this hole, Sol? He did. I did. Hugo went ahead first through the hole. Sol waits for you first, before following right after. The three of you went past a few bushes and shrubs, the leaves falling as you passed by them, the red and orange leaves scattering around and some making its way to your uniform, before you all eventually made it out and met with pavement. So, where do we go? Hugo thought for a moment, looking around before pulling out his phone. Suddenly, he lets out a gasp, scrolling through his phone faster before gripping on Sol's shoulder, earning him a hiss from the taller male. Does he have to go all of a sudden? Sherlock Holmes is out! My ears. Oh, yeah, it's that detective movie I keep seeing on the television. I thought that wouldn't come out till next week. Did I set the date wrong? Yep. Bye, as if that wasn't completely pre-planned. For the love of... Sol placed his hands on his hips before walking to where Hugo ran off to as you followed. Hugo kept tapping away on his phone. His shoulders went slump. Guess he did get the date wrong. Shoving his phone back in his pocket, he turned to you and Sol. He clasped his hands together and pulled the biggest puppy eyes you have ever seen. We have got to watch it. Can we, Cece? Can we, Sonny? Hugo begged. You can go ahead and watch the movie. I'm going to roam the arcade while you're at it. Hugo pouted. His eyes went half-lidded and the sparkle in his eyes was gone. But it's more fun if you're around. I know you like those crime videos you watch from time to time, so please? Sol, however, basing off his expression, isn't in the mood. Hugo gives up and turns to you. How about you, Cece? Would you like to watch the movie with me? The ticket and food's on me, of course. Hello? Are you trying to get murdered, sir? A soul would kill you. And then me. No, we're gonna go to the arcade. Hugo shrugs. All right, go on your little impromptu date then. Besides, I don't want a third wheel either way. Date? You're the one who decided we should skip class and do whatever we want. That doesn't mean it's a date. Yeah, and I want to watch a movie. Well, don't let me stop you two. Hugo stuck his tongue out at Soul, and the said male only rolled his eyes. Well, I'll be heading in now. I'll just give you guys a call where to meet. Sure. You and Hugo parted ways. He gave you both a wave before heading in a different direction. Soul turns to you. Should we get going, Cece? Of course. The flashing neon lights of the arcade's exterior lights your way, the sound of each arcade machine reaching your ears. I've never been in here before. Is this place new? Not really, it's just hidden within the city. I see. Do you get out a lot, Soul? You seem to know places. I know places because I get my ass dragged by Hugo. Hugo. Maybe it's Hugo? Do I have the emphasis wrong? Hugo? I don't know, dude. Just flame me in the comments, it's fine. Is that so? You laughed. Soul just shrugged as he shook his head. He takes out a few coins from his pocket before handing it to you. They were tokens. So, which one are you going for first? Wow, you came in prepared. As always. Come on. Soul holds out his hand and you accepted it. He held it tight with a light squeeze as you and him roam around the arcade. You and Soul went and played multiple arcade games. Some you win, and some he does. But you often get the feeling he lets you win for the sake of you winning. Come on, Soul, this is like the 5th time I won. Ain't no way you're this bad. Maybe you're just that good, Cece. You flatter me. Just as when you're about to insert another coin, however, you realize you've ran out of tokens. Soul takes notice of this, of course, and gives some of his to you. I'll go to the counter and grab a few more tokens. You don't mind staying here for a bit, right? Oh, how much should I pay you for the tokens? It's on me. Don't worry about it. Wait here. Why, is he just gonna go steal them? What is happening? Giving you one last look, he hurriedly went to the counter. You looked around the area. The dinging sounds from various machines fill the arcade. From the corner of your eye, you spot a claw machine. Maybe playing a few games wouldn't hurt. Going to the claw machine, you checked at the contents inside. A cat plushie, a Shiba Inu plushie, and a horse plushie. They all look so cute. Which one should I try to win? Let me think. I don't even have the chance to get a horse? What if I love horses? They scare me. They terrify the shit out of me. But what if this version of me loved horses? I'm gonna go for the Shiba Inu. You tapped on the transparent glass, cooing at the cute Shiba Inu plush. You will be mine. Before you could insert a token on the coin slot, you were interrupted by something. Or rather, someone. What the fuck? Well. What do we have here? You turned around and met with a tall figure, a cocky smirk on his face. He looks well off, like those typical spoiled rich kids you see in movies, his hair a bit tousled, with 2 men, you assume are his bodyguards, beside him. He reeks of tobacco, making you gag. You said nothing, but tried to move away from his sight, but you were stopped by another tall figure. You were guessing he's with this asshole. Now where do you think you're going there, sweetheart? You alone? Yes, and I would pretty much prefer to be alone. Why am I saying yes? I'm not alone. This is a good situation to not be alone in. The man, however, did not listen. Why don't you come with me and I'll show you how these games are played. He raised his hand to reach your shoulders. But before he could touch you, however, you kicked him between his legs. He doubled over and clenched his lower region, a groan escaping his lips. His goons were taken aback and rushed to help him. Yes, I love how fucking badass we are. Yes! Now's my chance. Don't let her get away. Multiple heavy footsteps were coming after you as you ran. You turned every corner you can, trying to make them lose you. But 3 against 1 is not a good matchup. Anyone, please, someone help me. You pleaded, but the multiple sound effects and music from each machine within the arcade drowns your pleas. You cursed under your breath as you focused on running. All you can think about at the moment is to get out. You manage to get out of the arcade, but you can still clearly hear the man and his goons on your trail. You looked around and you found a few toilet stalls. You rushed towards it and got in a stall, hurriedly opening and locking it as soon as you got in. The place stinks, but you didn't give it another thought as the beating of your heart rings through your ears, tears filling up the corners of your eyes. You hear footsteps. "Find her!" The man's voice echoed. You try to think of something, and you thought of calling Soul. You quickly took out your phone. No signal. Are you for real right now? You hear how aggressive they tore open each stall. They creep closer and closer to where you are. "Anyone, please." "Here you are." "No, please." "You've been a very bad girl. Fuck off. But don't worry, you can make it up to me by doing me a favor." "Fuck you and your favors." "I've been kind to you, but it seems you want to do it the hard way." He forcefully grabbed the edge of your uniform. Your eyes went wide as your fingers went cold. You quickly grab hold of his wrist as you try to push him away. He's too strong. He forcefully lifts up your uniform, revealing your stomach to him. "You're gonna give me a good time. I'm going to fucking bite you," is what's actually going to happen. "Boys, hold her down." "Jesus." "No, fuck off." "No." The tears that were hanging by finally fell down your cheeks as you tried to stop him from going any further. The two large men with him held you down as you try and struggle, but to no avail. Your vision is slowly being blinded by the hot tears that were filling up. It's no use. His grip was too strong and there's no one near to hear me. You closed your eyes shut. Please just end quickly. Judging from the impact, the man's body was jerked off you as he was thrown to the side. You hear flesh hitting flesh. And another one. "That's enough, Soul." "Not yet." "That's enough. You broke his nose already." "No." "Soul." "That's enough. Cece needs your help." At the mention of your name, the familiar reddish-orange eyes went wide open before turning to you. Soul quickly went to your side, his eyes wide with shock before crouching down and giving you a hug, his shoulders shaking as he embraces you. You said nothing, however, too stunned to speak to what transpired before you. The man now lay still on the ground, a pool of blood seeping out of him. The rest of his goons passed out on a random corner. You looked up and met with all too familiar eyes of Hyugo, but they weren't the kind ones you usually see on his face. His eye twitched as he sighed, trying to hide his visible irritation, but failing. He looks around at the mess Soul made before turning to check up on you. He said nothing, hands in his pockets while he looks down at you in Soul's embrace. "It's getting quite late. We should head home." Hyugo tapped Soul's shoulder, making the tall male bury his face further in between your neck before eventually letting go. His eyes were bloodshot, his face red from either anger or worry. You aren't sure, but one thing's for sure is that this man before you cried. He cried for you. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have left you. Soul." I mean, thanks for saving me, bro. I'm not just gonna say nothing. That's kind of fucked up. I mean, I know the impact of what is going to happen when I say thank you, but like, she doesn't know that. She in the game doesn't know that, so thanks, dude. I wouldn't touch him like that, though. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want that. I didn't consent to that. You reach out to cup his cheek. He flinches at the touch. Tears that he was trying to hold back is now flowing freely down his cheeks. He eventually relaxed as he closed his eyes and leaned onto your hand as he held it. "I don't know what I'll do if..." "It's okay. It's all right." "Here." Beside you, Hyugo extended his hand for you to take. Is it Hyugo? You took Hyugo's hand. I don't know. As he helped you get up. Soul stands as well, but backs away from you a few steps. "We should head back home. It's quite late after all." Both you and Soul didn't say anything, but nod along. He gives you both a smile before walking away. Soul kept a firm hold of your hand, seemingly afraid to let you go. Hyugo lets out a sigh. "I guess we can't get in that arcade anymore. Those guys might come back to teach us a lesson. If they ever come back, I'll give them more than just a broken nose." "You're pretty scary right now, Soul." Good. I'd like to keep it that way. Hugo shakes his head. He rummages through his pockets before handing Sol something. He didn't quite see what it was, but judging on the scowl on Sol's face, he doesn't like it. I told you these don't work anymore. It's because you aren't taking it, you fool. Now take it tonight. Sol grumbled like a child who got scolded before taking whatever Hugo gave him and tucking it in his pockets. Anyway, your place is just around this corner. You should head home as soon as possible. I'll be taking Cece home. Sol's eyes narrowed. He went from holding your hand to wrapping his arm around yours in a possessive manner as he leaned closer and glared at him. No, I can walk her home. Clearly, you're not in a good condition to fight again. I can fight again. There was something in Hugo's eyes that made your blood run cold. The usual happy-go-lucky expression he had on his face was gone. You take a look back at Sol, noticing how unfazed he seemed, as if challenging Hugo. Hugo's right, Sol. You look beaten up. But Cece, at least she knows her limits. Sol says nothing, but clenches his fist. You notice a few red marks on his knuckles. Your eyes furrowed. I'm fine, Cece. Sol tries to reassure you. You shook your head no. Well, for me, you aren't. You look up and give him a reassuring smile. I'll be fine, Sol. Besides, I have Hugo to keep me safe. You go home first and get some rest. All right. He squeezed your hands, too hesitant to let you go, before his hold eventually slipped as he lets go. With that, Sol takes his leave. He walks backwards, his eyes still on you, making sure you're in his sight before properly walking front. Hugo sighs. You turn to face him. Well, ain't he a charmer? Is it working? You raise a brow at his question. Working what? Charming you, obviously. Don't worry, this is a secret between you and me. He says with a finger on his lips and a wink. You blushed. He's nice. I owe him my life after that. And? You chuckled, thinking about the long-haired male. He is handsome, I'll admit that. Uh-huh. What's with that smirk on your face? Oh, nothing. Before he could retaliate with a question, his gaze softened, taking you a bit aback as he looked down on the pavement below, kicking a pebble. Have you ever liked someone, Cece? What's with this sudden question? Just answer. You paused as you thought for a second, and the first person that appeared in your mind was, obviously, Crow. Hello, we almost kissed him today. You thought of Crow. You still remember the day he introduced himself to you. No one was there for you. No one helped you, much less bother with your presence. But Crow came in time to save you. He made your years manageable and fun. You owe him a lot. You'd do anything to repay him. And maybe with a small linger of hope that he likes you back. A smile made its way to your face, and it was enough of a confirmation for Hugo. Eventually, you arrived at the door of your apartment. You thank him for accompanying you. He gives you a smile, rubbing the back of his head. I'll see you tomorrow, Cece. Sorry the day didn't go well. It's okay, but we're gonna have a proper plan for next time. Of course. Hugo nodded. He turned his heel, his back facing you, ready to leave. But he remained still on his spot. Cece? Yes? Be careful walking late at night, okay? You paused, turning your head slightly at him. There's been multiple cases of missing people lately. I suggest you go home with someone. Anyone. Just don't go alone, all right? I understand. Missing people? When did that happen? No, when did it start? Oh, and one last thing, Cece. He turned his head around as he looks at your confused face, his eyes soft, but the light against them seems like he's giving you a warning. Take care of Sol for me, okay? And with that, he left. You entered your apartment. The lights dim as you groaned, searching for the light switch. Much better. You nodded approval before heading to your kitchen. Was that just giving Sol enough time to come and break into my apartment? He set all this up, didn't he? That's why he said, take care of Sol for me. He's in my fucking apartment. You open your fridge and start rummaging around for something to eat. I forgot to do my groceries. You let out an irritated sigh, saying there's nothing good besides the leftovers from yesterday's dinner. You shrugged, deciding to heat this one up after you set your things down. You don't really feel like cooking or ordering either. Sighing one last time, you close the door to your fridge as you made your way to your room. You place your school bag near your desk as you take your seat, skimming through the notes you've taken for the day as you wrote down needed notes. You clicked your tongue as you tapped your blank notebook with the tip of your pen, going on with your silent staring contest with the blank paper before you. You let out a groan. Deciding to do work later, you closed your notebook and stood up. You turned to your window, noticing it being slightly ajar. I fucking knew it. He's in my house. That's weird. I thought I closed this. You went near it to close it shut, but was met with a now broken lock. You cursed. I thought I already replaced this 2 days ago. He's been breaking into my house. Maybe I shouldn't buy my locks online. You let out a groan as you left it alone and went out of your room and into your living room. Where is he, that little shit? Your TV blared as you munched on some leftovers you got from the fridge. A movie currently playing as you kept your eyes on the protagonist. If you recall correctly, it's one of those films Jess keeps talking about, starring her favorite lead actor. You kind of get what she was gushing about. The lead does look attractive. Blonde, wavy hair with sharp eyes, with eyes as pink as fuchsia. And you still can't remember the actor's name. You took out your phone as you start to search up the name of the actor, when it suddenly changed, and instead of the blonde actor on the screen, a report suddenly comes instead with the banner below. Another missing person case? Is that what Hyuga was talking about? A shiver went up your spine, remembering the broken lock of your window back in your room. Not tonight, Cece. No scary thoughts for tonight. Turning off the TV, you went to your kitchen to grab something to drink. You opened your fridge, feeling the cold air hitting your face as you rummaged through. Taking out a pitcher of orange juice, you take a glass from your cupboards as you pour the juice to the last drop, taking a sip from it. You check the clock on the wall. 9:30 p.m. That late already, huh? You checked your front door and windows, seeing everything locked before grabbing your glass and finishing the last drops of the orange juice before heading back to your bedroom. He's in my closet. Under my bed. Now dressed in your nightwear, you let out one last stretch, a yawn escaping from your mouth. Getting in your bed sheets, you laid in comfort. Today was a lot, you thought. Another yawn escapes your lips. You must be really tired, you thought, your eyes going half-lidded. And eventually, sleep took over. The moon was high in the sky, the night was quiet, save for a few honks from late-night cars, but all of that is not enough to wake the sleeping residents. Still broken, huh? You should be careful, Pumpkin. Clad in all black with a mask of the same color adorning his face, he slowly makes his way next to the sleeping figure. Yeah. His reddish eyes bright, filled with adoring love. He reached out and stroked a finger against his beloved's cheek. Look at my sleepy sweetheart. Makes me wonder who supplies Hyuga those sleeping pills. Yeah. So he took the sleeping pill that his friend gave him and put it in our shit. He was giving him enough time to get to my apartment, and fuck this guy. He's a fuck. He lets out a slow chuckle as he leaned closer to Cece. Pulling down his mask, he leans forward, checking her face before continuing. He buries his face at the dip of her shoulders and leaves a peck. He takes a deep inhale. He shakes as if he took a whiff of dangerous and addictive drug. Ew! His eyes bright as he examines every feature of his soulmate's face as he gives Cece's cheek a kiss. Fuck. You smell so good. Ew! Pardon me. He lifted her arm and watched as it flops down, deep in sleep like Sleeping Beauty. He nibbles her neck, earning him a soft whimper from the sleeping individual. He just chuckled. Quite ticklish, aren't you? I hate everything that's happening right now. Just so you're aware. Just so you know, I fucking hate this. And he kept going. He kissed and lapped on the same spot to the point a mark started to form. Those filthy scums think they could touch you. His eyes slanted in anger. His grip on the edge of the bed tightens as he wrinkles the sheets. His breathing heavy. You're mine. No one else. You belong to me. If I ever see those bastards again, I'll kill them. Tucking a loose strand away from her face, he gives her a kiss on the forehead before landing another one on the corner of her lips. A shiver ran down his spine at the contact. And as much as he'd like to stay a bit longer, his time is due. He backs away as he covers his face once again with his face mask. He walks towards the ajar window, turning back one last time. Sorry about your window, Pumpkin. I'll make it up to you someday. He carefully opens the window again. And with that, he's gone. Well, Crow didn't die this time, so that's a plus, right? Okay, so I skipped class, went to the arcade, was almost assaulted, and then got saved, but then had my house broken into, so I think this time we're just not gonna skip class and see what happens. I'm sorry, I couldn't bear to skip class on the second day. Sol didn't say anything as his shoulders slumped, indicating his obvious disappointment. But there was something else in the dullness of his eyes. You were interrupted by Hugo. That's all right, Cece, but promise you'll hang out eventually. On a weekend, then, I'm sure. Wait. Sol spoke, making you and Hugo look at him. Can I at least take you to your next class? He asked you. There was a hint of desperation within his reddish-orange eyes. You don't see what's the problem with it, so you agreed. Well, I'll see you at the usual, Sol. Hugo waved to the both of you before walking off. Let's go, shall we? Sol nods as you walk along, Sol following beside you. You and Sol walk through the hallway towards your next class's classroom. You couldn't help but check on Sol. He seems nervous. You look down and see that his hand is shaking. Well, I mean, Crow is miles ahead. Miles ahead. Maybe even deathly amount of miles ahead. So maybe we try to help spare Crow and hold his little hands. Take him feel better, I guess? Give me your hand. Reaching to his hand, you gently wrapped your hand around his. His hand stopped shaking and he went stiff. He eventually relaxed and intertwined his fingers with yours. This makes you smile. The walk was silent, but no words needed to be said to see the growing smile on his face. You finally reached the front of your classroom door. You peeked inside through the door's window and saw Crow in his usual seat already. You turned your attention back to Sol. Just then, your classroom's door opened, and there stood Crow. His eyes perked upon seeing you. There you are, Cece. Just in time for the next class, too. And just noticed Sol's presence beside you. His eyebrows perked up as he gave the tall student a soft smile. And hello there, Sol. What brings you here? Sol, however, was silent, his gaze dark, before responding. Just escorting Cece. That's really sweet of you to do, Sol. Crow didn't mind the mail any longer before returning his attention back to you. You should probably get in. The professor is coming any time now. Oh, right. Thank you again, Sol, for coming with me. You entered your classroom along with Crow, failing to see Sol's ever-darkening gaze as his fist clenched, drawing blood. He stares at the door, moving aside as he leaned on the wall right beside the door. Sol looked down to stare at his palm. Sol cursed. It reopened. He raised his palm and licked the blood away. Ichabod, it's always been you. I should have dealt with them years ago. I was hoping the hand-holding would have maybe helped calm him down a little bit so that he's not so angry at Crow, but didn't work. Like, we got a point back, but I guess that's not enough. Sorry, Crow, I'm trying. You go to your usual seat. Crow takes his usual seat by the window in front of your own seat, waiting for the classroom to settle down as your professor comes in. All right, class, settle down. You all better turn in this upcoming paper if you don't want to end up having no grades in your card. And that means your professor slams down his thin notebook, the loud slap echoing through the room. You won't be able to graduate. And don't even think about making it up to the higher class with a weak mindset. Now for today's task, I'd like you all to think of a short story based on any type of literature. Bonus points if you can source out where you got your inspiration, along with references. I'll be checking those the most. You hear a few whispers from a few of your classmates as they talk with each other. Unfortunately for them, the professor notices them as he slams his thin notebook again on his desk, making some of you jolt from your seats. Now, I can allow you all to head to the library to do your research, or stay here and brainstorm. You may begin. Crow stands up from his seat, gathering his things and turning towards you. I'm going to the library. Would you like to join me? You give him a nod, earning a smile from him as he makes his way towards the exit. Crow waits for you as you gathered your things before leaving the classroom into the library. Unlike lunchtime, where everyone is free, the library contains only a few students, some either doing their student duties, while some are doing their own research. Same spot, then? You read my mind. Of course, it's one of our favorite spots. With a smile on his face, he makes his way towards your favorite table near the windows and settles down. Meanwhile, you make your way towards the tall bookshelves. Scanning through each spine of each book, you try to look for something that might catch your interest. Minutes passed and nothing seemed to catch your fancy. You sighed upon realizing this predicament. Giving up, you decided to just pick up the closest book and hope for the best that it's decent enough for your paper. Feeling a thick book, you pull it out. And nearly drop it. It's heavy! Regaining your balance, you held on to the thick book properly and finally checked the title of the massive tome. The Biography of Marie Antoinette. Your eyebrows raise in mild curiosity. This might actually work. You flip it open and were met with a very well-drawn portrait of a very prestigious-looking woman. Flipping through more pages, your eyes land on a drawn figure of the same woman, but her kneeled before a guillotine. Quite a spoiler, but you read through the text below the illustration. The execution. Such a gruesome end, you thought. Deciding with this book, you tucked it under your arm for safekeeping. You take a look one last time around the bookshelves, maybe finding something of the same genre. You notice a peculiar book sticking out of the very edge of the bookshelf. It looks a bit worn out and dirty. You're kind of wondering how it ended up there. You inched a bit closer to it. The spine didn't have anything on it besides a few worn edges, bent and littered with dust. You got on your tiptoes as you reach out to grab the book. However, the moment you grab it and pull it out, the bookshelf started wobbling. You immediately stopped. I mean, it feels worth it to me. And if not, we'll just rewind it and it'll be fine. With determination, you held onto the shelf, making sure not to make it wobble any further as you take a firm grip on the worn book. Come here, you. I got it! Whoa! The bookshelf wobbles from the force of you pulling the lone book, threatening to push you down, making your heartbeat quicken from the sheer thought of getting crushed under the tall shelves. You quickly held out your arms wide as you tried to rebalance the shelf, hoping it was enough to stop it from shaking. A few books fell then and there, making you wince. But you successfully stabilized the shelf. You let out a breath you didn't realize you were holding. Hope no one heard that. Anyway, what is this that's so stuck to the damn thing? You flip open the cover only to see a blank page. No author whatsoever save for the paper, the edges of it a bit yellow from age. The dust isn't helping either. You went through a few more pages and there you finally get to see some printed words on it. The various torture devices and executions of the medieval times. How the fuck did this end here in the school library? Then again, I might be able to get some material out of this. I wouldn't. You shrug. Closing the book, you tucked it under your arm with the large biography book and left the area, returning to where Crow was settled. Welcome back, Cece. Have you found anything useful for your paper? Took a while, but nothing caught my eye from the books but this one. You raised the large book and showed it to Crow. The Queen herself? That's pretty interesting. What kind of paper are you going to make out of it? I was thinking maybe how a tyrant royal turned good but was punished regardless for her actions. How does that sound? Crow was silent for a few seconds, making you tilt your head. Maybe he didn't hear you correctly? You okay there, Crow? What did I say? Don't. It went too fast. Okay, just say. It's a good idea. That's fine. That actually sounds nice, Cece. Can I ask what's the inspiration? Oh, well, I couldn't stop thinking about our conversation back in the greenhouse. So, maybe I could base off some things here. Is that so? That's very smart of you, Cece. Why, thank you. You did a little bow, tipping your imaginary hat as you did. Crow chuckles at your silly gesture before you two settle down on your seats. You skim through the book, taking a few notes here and there for important bits you could use. Feeling your wrist aching a bit, you stop scribbling and stretched out your arms, a few squeaks of satisfaction escaping your lips as you can feel the effects of your stretch. At the corner of your eye, you notice how Crow's eyebrows tend to furrow as he goes through his books. You can feel his legs shaking from underneath the table. The occasional tapping of his pen fills the quiet library. You took a peek on his supposedly report paper, expecting a few words written on it, but instead, you were met with a blank sheet, void of words or even a droplet of ink. You're starting to worry. He seems restless about something. Buddy? Crow jolts in surprise, his eyes wide open upon the sudden contact. His legs stop shaking as he turns his full attention to you. Yes? Is something the matter, Cece? Are you all right, Crow? Yes, I'm all right. What makes you say that? You seem stressed. Let me guess, writer's block? You can say that. Crow lets out a nervous laugh. Then he went silent, his eyes returning to stare down on his blank sheet of paper. The silence is quite suffocating, the air now a bit awkward. Your will to write dissipates and was replaced by your concern over the mail beside you. Say, I've got a bit of a scenario for you to play along with, Cece. Huh? Crow's previous gloomy attitude was replaced by a playful tone, facing his body towards you with his pen set down, discarding his thoughts from the paper. His sudden change in demeanor caught you by surprise, but he did not spare you a moment to question him as he raised a finger. Imagine yourself living in the same time as the Queen, and that you were given the chance to actually befriend her, even though you came from nothing. You often question how you managed to befriend the Queen herself. She's been nothing but kind to you, often inviting you to her parties and giving you the fanciest gifts ranging from dresses to jewelries. Now here comes my first question. What do you think of the Queen? Let's be real, I'd be suspicious as fuck. Your brows arched in mere confusion and mild irritation from the thought of the what-if scenario given to you. Isn't it a bit suspicious that the Queen, literally the Queen herself, started being all nice to me? Maybe she has something to ask from me? A mere commoner? You look up to observe Crow's facial expression. His gaze averted with his breath held, the smile he had on before now completely wiped off his face as he sinks in the words that came from your mouth. That would make total sense. I'd have my guard up too. Which brings me to the follow-up scenario. Crow takes a breath, almost contemplating on his next words before speaking. What if one day you decided to go out of her palace, wanting to do either groceries or even visit your family? And there's where you see a group of people. They're all mad, each throwing one profanity to another. Upon coming closer, it was about the Queen. You decide to come closer. They're in a heated debate, but the loudest one, a farmer, loudly proclaims on how the Queen betrayed them. How the Queen is nothing but a greedy higher-up, using the Commodore's hard-working labor for her to throw parties, leaving him starving. Then the other side speaks up, a woman, saying that the farmer is wrong, and that the Queen has been nothing but good to them, providing enough gold and food to keep them afloat. A child came and held onto the woman's leg, confirming her words, as if it weren't for the Queen, the children wouldn't have homes. There you soon realize that they are a group of nuns, and behind them is an orphanage, a few children peeking through the windows as they try to comprehend what's going on and why they are screaming. Having had enough of the fight, you return to the Queen's castle. But just when you thought you escaped the circulating argument about the Queen, you hear a few whispers from nobles along the hallway. The Queen is nothing but a fraud. She is nothing but a selfish bitch. She is doing nothing but bringing misery to the people around her. She doesn't fit to be a noble. But that's pretty odd, isn't it? They're the same group of nobles who the Queen helped and tried to stop war from raging. Why are they talking about her? Is there something you aren't aware of about the Queen? Or are they doing it out of pure hatred? He opened his eyes, the light still absent within his blue orbs as he focuses his gaze on your own. He leans a bit back, his form straight and firm. Now, here's where you come in, Cece. Which side do you believe in? The queen, who has been nothing but kind to you? Or the rumors circulating around her being a neglectful noble, a selfish woman? A tyrant? He says the word tyrant with so much venom he spat it out like poison in his teeth. You thought long and hard on his little scenario, multiple thoughts swirling in your head. This all seems so complicated. Take your time. It's fine for you not to respond. Just tell me. But I would love to hear your answer, Cece. It seems like he wants us to agree with the queen, right? And we lost a lot of points by saying that we would be suspicious of the queen. Oh no. Oopsies. Okay, we'll believe in her. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll believe in her. I believe in the queen. You do? I do. Even if the rumors say that she's a bad person? Even if she's the cause of so many people suffering under her reign? That's the loophole. It's just baseless rumors. If I want the truth, isn't it better to ask straight from the queen? If she is aware that she's causing people so much suffering, then I'd rather take it, knowing that she was aware and proceeds to be honest with me rather than lie to me. For a moment, Crow falls silent, his hands nestled on his lap. You couldn't see them, but you took notice of the way his shoulders trembled, his eyes gleaming. Why is he crying? Is he about to cry? Oh, God, I didn't mean to. Crow, I'm so sorry. You're too trusting. You know that, Cece? That could attract potential danger. What? I just did what you told me to do, and that's answering your scenario. His playful demeanor came back quick, as if he did not make up the most gut-wrenching scenario known to man. Wait. Holy shit, that got us back 5 points. Okay. What? He laughs, holding his chest as he wipes a stray tear away from the corner of his eye. What was the sudden scenario question for, anyway? I just thought it would be a good idea for my paper. Am I right? You have to admit it was a good idea and probably entertain your teacher for quite a bit. I can't believe you let me go through that brain exercise just for this silly paper of ours. Well, better get to writing, Cece. We're almost running out of time. It was not just for his paper. He wouldn't have cried if it was just for the paper. Come on now. What? How about you? Your paper's still blank. If I could make up that silly scenario, then I can absolutely make up another one on a whim. Plus, your response is enough to fill in my little writer's block, so I'd like to thank you for helping me. Ugh, you're so good when it comes to writing stories, Crow. You should be a writer. I'll think about your suggestion. Stretching out your arms, letting out a sigh of relief, looking at your paper that you've made as you skim through it one last time. You were too caught up in the conversation with Crow, you nearly forgot about the worn book you brought along. You picked it up and started flipping through the first pages. Torture devices, execution devices. Why the fuck are you reading this again? You turn to another page, and on it is a good sketch, I don't know, of a tall and bulky man. God, okay. Listen, I've been able to read through all of these typos pretty well. Give me some slack. Half his face covered by his hood, while a large axe is settled behind him. His arms are filled with scars, while around his neck is a chained collar. He looks like those killers you often see in slasher films. Underneath the illustration, it reads, Executioner. Some executioners were feared by the public, while the rest respected them. But mostly people shunned them for their field of work. The old times sure were brutal, you mutter under your breath. Closing the book, you then stacked it on top of the other books you and Crow borrowed. Handing out your paper to Crow, he gladly accepts it and stacks it on top of his own paper. Shall we head back? You nod along after you finish stacking the books you borrowed for the librarian and her assistants to get. I can't wait for the day to end. Same here. Crow chuckles as you and him left the library. The day eventually came to an end. Few rays of the sunset light shine through the hallways as you and Crow walk together through the hallway. Do you have anything else to do today, Cece? Well, I have some quick grocery shopping before I go home. Well, in that case, would you mind me accompanying you? Really? It's fine if you have other things to do. Like look for Brittney and the others? Not really. Besides, Daryl has after-class practice. Same with Gio. As for Brittney and Jess, they're catching up on their business proposal. But don't you also need to catch up? I can do them tomorrow. I'd like to spend the rest of the day with you, Cece. Your voice got caught up in your throat. You can feel your face heating up. Stupid Crow. Stupid feelings. All right, then. Crow lets out a small cheer, kind of like a mini jump from that game with an Italian plumber. Woohoo! It made you giggle a bit. Without wasting much time, you and Crow head out of the school campus. The sun slowly sets in the horizon. After you and Crow finished up buying some groceries, Crow offered to carry your bags and walk you home all the way back to your apartment just like the day before. We should do this every day. But don't you live on the other side of the city? Nothing wrong with that. Plus, my place isn't that far from the school anyway, so walking to your apartment and back is nothing to me. Don't tell me you're the kind of person who would travel from one city to another while saying it's walkable. Crow laughs, shrugging his shoulders as if to say, maybe. I love walking, especially during the night, and most especially when the stars are out. I kind of agree with that. You stare at him up and down, your eyes often lingering on his hand. The temptation of holding it was gnawing at you, making you fidgety. This doesn't come unnoticed by Crow as he gradually slowed down until he came to a stop, setting down the groceries. You stopped as well, raising a brow in concern as he looked at you with keen eyes. Do you feel cold, Cece? No. What makes you think that? Without much of a warning, he takes both of your cold hands, cupping them in between his large ones as he begins to blow on them, his warm breath easing your cold fingertips. Your hands are now warm, but they couldn't compare to the heat of your face reaching to the tips of your ears. You keep shivering, so I thought I could warm you up a bit. I'm sorry I don't have a jacket, and I doubt my vest would do much to help. It's all right, Crow. You don't need to... Your face is all red. Are you cold? Do you want to hold my hand during our walk? Aww. He's gonna die. He's gonna die, guys. And I feel so bad about it because he's so nice. He doesn't deserve to die. Oh man. Okay, I'm sorry. You're gonna die. I'm sorry. You hang your head down, too flustered to utter a single word. Your request got caught in your throat as your shyness overwhelmed you. Rather, you stared at Crow's large hands wrapped around yours, not pulling away nor protesting against it. Crow noticed your averted gaze, your shy demeanor causing his lips to quirk up in a gentle smile. He almost chuckled when he realized how your eyes fixated on your joined hands. Freeing his right hand, Crow picks the groceries back up. His left hand closed around yours, holding it firmly but gently. You swear he gave you a little squeeze as he tugs you along, continuing with your walk. Drip. Drop. That's odd. Something the matter? Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Oh. Okay. Oh, I thought you were about to die right then and there. What seemed to be a soft drizzle suddenly turned into a wild downpour. You and Crow made a run for it, trying your best to keep yourselves dry as Crow shielded your groceries from getting wet. Thankfully, the side of your apartment complex came into view a few feet away. A relieved sigh escaped past your lips. You turned to Crow, who was doing everything he could to keep your bag dry, not even caring about the droplets of rain rolling down his cheek and his damp hair that clung to his face. Just a few more steps, Crow. We're almost there. You ran up the road, hearing Crow's heavy footsteps following behind you. All of a sudden, Crow stops. His head turned towards the bushes, his eyes growing wide as he opened his mouth in a near gasp. Oh no. Crow? What's wrong? Oh, one sec. Let's get these groceries and you to a cover. Huh? Crow hastily shoves your semi-damp plastic bag towards you, your arm suddenly carrying the weight of your groceries. You blinked a few times in confusion. Crow? Whoa. Without much warning, Crow lifts you off the ground. With one of his arms wrapped around your shoulders and the other under your knees, he hoists you up. The shock from your feet leaving the pavement floor caused you to shriek as you clung around Crow's neck, feeling his damp body press against yours. Jericho! What on earth? Crow runs up to your apartment, carrying you like your weight meant nothing in his arms. He seemed distracted, your protest going unheard. Once he makes it to your doorstep, he sets you down before turning around and running back the way he came. Get inside the apartment. I'll be right back. Where the fuck is he going? You gripped your grocery bag tight as you stared at his figure, your heart drumming quite loudly within your chest. Did he just pick me up and carry me all the way to my apartment that easily? He barely even grunted. For someone so lean, you never expected him to actually lift you like a sack of feathers. You start wondering if he works out. You were too dazed, head afloat from what just occurred, to realize that Crow finally came back. You gasped as you took in his entire body, now awfully drenched from head to toe, his hair dripping with water. His shoes sloshed as he walked, and his wet clothes clung to his skin. You notice his vest missing, and then you spot it in his arms, wrapped around something. Oh. Oh, my heart. Oh, this poor man. Oh, I hate that he's gonna die. It's so sad. The sound came from the bundle that he carried in his arms, causing you to snap out of your thoughts. Did I just hear his vest meow? Let's get inside before we get any colder. Once you and Crow made it inside your apartment, the first thing you did was to grab 3 different towels. One for you, one for Crow, and one for your new little friend. I couldn't bear to leave him in the cold rain. Poor guy must have been abandoned by its mother. Oh my god! Wrapped in the small towel is a tiny black kitten. You know, we should be thankful that my landlord isn't at his usual desk, right? Pets aren't allowed here? Other than that, Crow paused a bit, understanding where you're coming from. A low chuckle left his lips, scratching his wet cheek. He probably won't appreciate the puddle we made on his doorstep. Huh. Precisely. You both let out a small, awkward laugh, hoping that you won't get caught the following day by the cameras around. How could we help it? We were in the rain. What the fuck were we supposed to do? Just wait outside till we were dry again? Shoving the thought aside, you and Crow stare at the kitten now wrapped within the towel, its beady eyes seemingly staring at both of you before breaking into mewls and meows. You can feel your heart melt, and so did Crow's. I'll take care of this little guy for now. You should probably dry up, Crow. Is that okay? I didn't expect to actually end up staying in your place. I won't be long, though. I'll get out of your hair as soon as I dry up. I honestly don't mind you staying a bit longer. It's not a problem. I don't want you to catch a cold because of me. Well, we'll take turns then. After I dry up, I'll take care of the kitten next. Let me get you something to change. There's really no need for not giving him a chance to protest. You quickly head out of your bedroom. Rummaging through your drawers and cabinets, you try to find something that could fit Crow. Then you remember the oversized shirt you received during last sports day. You never understood as to why everyone needed to buy that shirt, but when you got yours, they ran out of your own size, and then you had no choice but to accept the shirt that was one size bigger than yours. Taking it out of the drawer, you make your way back. You head back towards the living room, seeing Crow, who remained still in his spot. His shirt had partly dried, and he had taken the kitten into his arms. The little creature was snugly wrapped in its warm blanket, reminding you of a burrito. The sight of Crow gently holding the kitten pierced a soft spot in your heart. This view was to die for, and you would have just spent a few more seconds admiring it had you not noticed Crow's shoulders shaking from the cold. You're shivering. Nothing I can't handle. Lies. The cat is doing a better job at getting warm than you. You teasingly roll your eyes at Crow as you shove the shirt and another fresh towel in his direction. He chuckles, forced to give up the kitten to you as he accepts the change of clothes. Carrying the kitten in your arms, you lead Crow to your bathroom, and he thanks you before stepping in and closing the door behind him. Hearing the tweak of the valve and the familiar sound of the shower running, you remember how Crow shivered all the way to the bathroom. You turn your heater up a little bit before settling back on the couch. You return your attention to the kitten, its fur now dry thanks to you and Crow. The small feline looks up at you and meows, its little beady eyes staring up at yours. You put a finger on its head, petting it gently. You must be hungry, little guy. You're lucky I went out grocery shopping. Scooping the tiny kitten in your arms, you make your way towards the kitchen. Setting the kitten down on the counter, you rummage through your fridge and cupboards for a clean bowl. You pick up your grocery bag from the floor, placing it on the kitchen table as you look for the almond milk you remember getting. Heating the milk just warm enough, you observe the kitten as it breaks free from its warm confinement and looks around. The cat shivering in fear and caution of the unknown territory, yet remaining curious enough to look around. Setting the warm bowl of milk in front of the cat, you grabbed a chair, patiently waiting as it creeps closer to the bowl. It takes one lap of the milk, then another, then one more before happily drinking it up. A warm smile makes its way to your face. Seems like you got yourself all settled in. You hear Crow's slightly amused voice and you turn around to face him. You momentarily stop at the sight of him standing there, wearing the fresh shirt you just handed him with a towel around his neck. Now out of his usual braids, his hair was let loose, a few droplets dripping from the semi-dry strands. Thank you for letting me use your bathroom, Cece. You don't mind me hanging my vest, right? I don't mind. In fact, I could just hand your stuff to you tomorrow if you'd like. Crow didn't answer you as he pointed his gaze downwards, dipping his head in an attempt to conceal the slight tint of pink brushing along his cheeks. He rubbed his arm, a hint of embarrassment in his voice. Sorry, I didn't think I would end up staying here a bit, but I'm thankful either way. Also, isn't this the first time I've been to your apartment? You've got a nice place. Oh, crap, he's actually right. You never really got any visitors save for your father and your landlord. Other than that, you've never really had anyone in here until now. And it's Crow, too. Just you two. Well, Soul's been in there a few times. Just you two. Alone. I'm probably talking too much. You should get changed, too. Crow's voice snaps you out of your thoughts, and you look up to realize that he had already picked the kitten up from the counter. Crow holds it in his arms, the feline faintly purring as it snuggles close to his chest, relishing in his warmth. You never thought you'd see the day you'd be jealous over a cat, but here we are. Getting up from your chair, you accompany Crow back into the living room before going to change as well. The sound of the shower head running fills your ears as you look down on your bathroom's white tiles, observing the water run down towards the sinkhole. The water's heater helped you warm up a bit, but you couldn't help thoughts running through your mind. Thoughts that were mostly consumed by Crow and the cat. Who's going to keep it? Why did he save it? And most importantly, how long is he planning to stay here? You look up, seeing his soaked vest and polo hanging on one of the bathroom railings. You should probably throw that in the dryer along with yours after. You let out a sigh, not wanting to waste any more water, and probably spend the next 30 minutes contemplating your life in the shower. You got out, dried yourself, and got yourself dressed. You returned to the living room, finding that Crow had made himself comfortable on your couch with the cat happily settled in his lap as he gives it a few pets. Sensing your presence, Crow lifts his head and his eyes perk upon landing on your figure. Welcome back. The cat's starting to relax. It's almost as if it belongs in this place. He chuckles. You make your way to him and you sink into the couch right by his side. You gaze at the cat curled up in his lap and purring away in content. You bit your bottom lip. Cat 2, CC 0. Have you thought of a name yet? Actually, no. I'm never really good with names. How about you? Have you thought of a name for it? He tilts his head to the side, awaiting your answer to his inquiry. Where are we at? We're at 10. Oh, and he's at 1. Oh, he's big mad. Oh, Crow. I'm so sorry. He saved it. He can name it. Why don't you try to name it? Me? But the names I give are quite corny. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. Crow scans your face for confirmation. He genuinely seemed to think that he wasn't the best person for the task, but you clearly saw that glimmer of hope in his eyes. Are you sure? Of course I am. Are you really, really sure? Okay, just name it. Yes. You roll your eyes in mock annoyance before giggling. Seeing that you're not budging from your choice, he sighs in defeat with a little troubled smile on his face. Crow gazes at your ceiling in deep thought. He hums, biting the inner of his cheek as he closes his eyes, taking on the seemingly very serious task of giving the cat a good name. Crow looks down at the kitten in consideration, and its blue eyes mirrored his blue orbs as they stared at each other. Ah, how about Regulus? Regulus? That's right. He picks up the cat and lovingly cradles it like a parent to their baby, letting the kitten rest on his right arm and booping its nose as he did so. So cute! Regulus, named after the brightest star in the Leo constellation. Plus, his eyes are blue. Crow turns to you, seemingly excited, as he holds the cat in front of you, showing its eyes. You've got to agree, its eyes are a bright shade of beautiful blue, reminding you of sapphire gems. The feline's dark fur accentuates its eyes further, helping it pop like a twinkling star in the night sky. You thought it was just like Crow to name the cat after a constellation. You recall how he thought he was corny, but to you, it was endearing that Crow manages to leave traces of himself on things. I think Regulus is a beautiful name. You don't think it's too complicated or too corny? Corny? No. In fact, it's quite... Aw, I'm gonna be nice. Be nice. He's gonna die. It's unique. I would never even come close to thinking of a name like that. It's named after a star. You give beautiful names, Crow. I love it. Crow scratched the side of his face at the compliment, his cheeks growing red as he gazed fondly at the little furry creature. Thank you. I'm surprised you didn't think it was weird. It is quite an unusual name. It's not weird at all. If anything, this little guy deserves to have a name that is one of a kind. It's just like you to give a name like this, and I love seeing you be just so you, Crow. You spoke so sincerely that you and Crow fell silent for a moment. It was a pleasant kind of silence as Crow lets your words sink in. You stared into each other's eyes, as if an invisible force was pulling you in together. The kitten's noise felt like an electric zapping as you both pulled away. You coughed, and Crow cleared his throat, plastering on that familiar smile to his face. Yeah, I guess you're right, Cece. Anyway, do you want something to eat? I can heat up some Hot Pockets we bought. Such a college kid. That would be wonderful. The sun had set beyond the horizon hours ago, and you can see the sky painted black from your window. With the rain still pouring just as hard as before, Crow decides to stay a little bit longer to enjoy your company. The kitten sleeps soundly on a nearby makeshift bed that you made together with Crow. You sit beside him on the couch, the living room dimly lit with nothing but the television running what seems to be a slasher film. Okay, hear me out. Why did they have to make the serial killer so hot in this movie? Excuse me? I mean, look at him. He's clearly a pretty boy with that blonde hair and charming smile. But that makes sense, right? Especially with this killer in the movie. Cunning and charming, he's a good manipulator, having to entice people so he can kill them in the end. Throws the detectives off, right? I guess that makes sense. They did a good job casting whoever the killer is. He's pretty good. You know the actor? No? How about you? Surprised you don't know him. He's one of the best multi-talented idol in Titus City. You cast your eyes back to the screen and you're greeted by the serial killer's actor. Golden hair dyed with pink tips, rose-pink eyes that shone brightly, and a smile that was so alluring and magnetic, it was hard to tear your gaze away. He almost looks like an actual angel. He's known as Ares. Besides being an actor, he's also a singer and a model. Wow, sounds like a big shot. Mm-hmm. He's also Jess's favorite actor. Did you know Jess owns the biggest fan page for this guy and has been recognized by him and many fans? Really? That's quite an achievement. I agree. With a face card like that, how could anyone not fall for him? Don't tell me he's your type. Who doesn't love a good blonde serial killer? Nonsense! No. Yeah, sure, he's handsome, but he's not really my type. For a second, Crow's eyes flickered with hope before disappearing. Instead, a smile is plastered on his face. That's good. Huh? Nothing. The room fell silent afterwards, with neither of you uttering a word. Somehow we managed to get a point back with Soul. Maybe about the serial killer comment? I don't know. As the television becomes background noise, you unconsciously fiddle with your fingers. You found it difficult to focus on the movie as you start feeling conscious of the male beside you. From your peripheral vision, you try to discreetly check up on Crow, only to realize that his whole attention was already on you. Your heartbeat races. Hey, Cece, if given the chance, if you could have anything in the world, what would it be? Another one of your little trivia questions, Crow? You laugh lightheartedly, attempting to ease the atmosphere. Yet Crow did not seem to be on board, so you shut yourself up quickly. You bit your lips as you felt Crow leaning in close to your face, his breath brushing against your cheek. The movie becomes a muffled and incoherent noise as the rapid beating of your heart floods your eardrums. Why don't you answer first? He chuckles slowly, sending a shiver down your spine. Crow surprises you when he rests his head on your shoulder, the intimate gesture making your heart stop. Before you can say anything else, he buries his face in the crook of your neck, making you freeze. You prayed you wouldn't hear just how loudly your heart is beating. Dodging the question this time, huh? Well, if I were to have anything in the world, I'd love to have more time. More time to be with you. More time to spend with you. Kind of selfish of me, huh? At this point, you aren't sure if he's talking to you or with himself. You glance at Crow from the corner of your eye, noticing his downcast gaze. He smiled at himself, but all you could see was that desperate expression he failed to suppress. You did not dare ask what was wrong. At a loss for words, you chose to remain silent. You stayed in that position with Crow for what felt like a minute, the hurt on his beautiful face replaying in your head. You swallowed and lifted your hand, gently placing it on the back of his head. You relaxed when you felt Crow ease up on your touch. Taking that as a sign, you proceed to stroke his hair, brushing along his now soft and dry locks between your fingers. I should probably get going. Already? He pulls away and looks at you straight in the eyes. Multiple swirls of emotions fill his dull orbs. Drowsiness, uncertainty, longing. With one last exhale, Crow finally gets off of you and stands up, a few groans escaping his lips as he stretches his limbs. With his hands on his hips, he gives you a smile. You couldn't shake off the feeling that it was done just to reassure you. The rain is slowing down a bit, plus it's getting quite late. I haven't contacted my relatives yet, so they might really be worried by now. Are you sure you don't want to stay the night? You want to stay it so bad, you really, really want to, but you couldn't. You shouldn't. Why not? You clench the fabric of your shirt above where your painfully beating heart lies. You're probably right. Let me get your clothes from the dryer. I'll see you out. Thank you, Cece. You're the best of the best. Why not? Why the fuck not? I mean, other than the fact that Soul will literally murder him. We don't know that. Are you sure you'll be fine, Crow? Mm-hmm. I already called my driver. I'll probably get an earful from him, but that's all right. They're probably going to question me about Regulus, but I'll think of an excuse. I'm sorry I couldn't keep him with me, Crow. No, it's all right. In fact, I already know who would be the perfect cat owner for them. With the kitten cradled in his arms, Crow did a mock-up face of a grumpy person, exaggerating his expression with his cheeks puffed and shoulders raised. You can only make a wild guess on the mysterious identity. It was a shame that your apartment had a no-pets policy. And the fact that you know absolutely no one who would take care of the kitten. After talking it out with Crow, he decided to take the kitten with him. Thankfully, you had a few spare boxes lying around, and you gave one for Crow to place the kitten in. Today's been fun, Crow. His brows raised in mild surprise, then a soft smile painted his features. With his dominant hand, he ruffles the top of your head, messing your hair a bit and earning him a chuckle. Hey now. I had fun too, Cece. See you tomorrow? Yeah, see you tomorrow. You moved to close the door, but stopped by the sudden sensation of something soft landing on your forehead. Your eyes travel up, realizing that Crow had just given you a tender kiss near your brow. While your face heated up, your brain short-circuited at the feeling of his soft lips lingering on your skin. Good night, Cece. He gives you a casual wave, Regulus peeking out of his box to give you one last look, as if bidding you goodbye before you finally closed your door. That. Tease! She's finally back, huh? Who? Come on, Regulus. Let's go home. Who's finally back? What are you talking about? Whoopst. Should we continue? No, continue it right now. Hello? Hello? Who's finally back? Don't tell me that Crow is not a good person, because I will be so fucking upset. Okay, I'm just gonna work through some of the things and see if there's any other endings. Because so far it seems like I've gotten all of them, right? Like we died. We had a to be continued with Soul and a to be continued with Crow. So I'll let you know if there's anything else that's interesting. Soul made this for his friend. If only he wasn't just a horrible little piece of shit. This would be adorable. Okay, I was going through this, but then I decided to go back because it's really good. Like, it's another side of Soul that you don't see, and it can be really disarming if you don't know that he's a crazy person. So I figured we could just go through this little scene together. They're up on the rooftop right now. They're eating lunch. Have you eaten, Cece? No. Because I haven't, and I'm not about to go hungry. Soul's eyes went wide, and Hugo gave you a shocked look. Before you knew it, Soul takes out another box and settles it on your lap. You can have this. It's an extra. Why do you have an extra? I didn't like how this looked, and I figured I could let Hugo finish it. It's a waste of ingredients. But you don't have to, Soul. Really? No, I insist. Oh, for fuck's sake, just eat the same box. Hugo, who clearly had enough of the back and forth banter, suggests the idea before returning to his own box. Soul hesitates, but he eventually takes out a spoon and fork, handing them to you. So I did these. I think this one's the funnier one. You decline his offer of the utensils. He raises a brow in confusion. You don't want the fork? Or do you prefer the spoon? I have chopsticks if you want. No, nothing of the sort. Then what is it? I want you to feed me. Soul's breath hitched. His face went bright red at your wild suggestion. Hugo gives you both a side eye. Your proclamation was enough for him to actually stop eating, shooting you both a judgmental look, as if saying, really? Right in front of my bento box? He scoots a bit away from the two of you, not wanting to be part of your little fiasco as he returns to his meal. Soul, however, was nervous for a bit, his eyes still transfixed on yours. Still couldn't believe what you asked from him. Are you just gonna keep staring at her or what? He's such a great wingman. Shut up! I'll feed her. Soul takes the spoon in his hand, a little bit too harshly, and scoops out some rice and a piece of the sausage, his whole face turning red to the point it reaches to the tips of his ears. With a shaky hand, he lifts the spoon for you to take. You took a bite and chewed. The mixture of flavors, how the rice remains warm and fluffy, and the sausage's savory taste helps balance it out, sends a tingling feeling down your spine from your mouth. It's amazing. It's delicious. Soul, this is really good. Hugo nods along with you with gusto, food stuffed in one cheek like a hamster. I know, right? You'd honestly be surprised. Soul? You'd make a great house husband. Soul's eyes widen at your declaration. You really think so? I really do think so. Do you want to get married? Soul is definitely house husband material, Cece. He can cook, he can clean, he can do anything. He can murder people that look at you for too long. I'd rather not be your own personal butler. That was a compliment. The two banter, but you couldn't help looking at Soul and the way his eyes sparkle. They almost remind you of bright fireworks during the New Year. Hugo eventually finished his own box, tucking it away and wrapping it back up. Standing up from the bench, Hugo stretched out his limbs and paced a few steps forward before turning back to look at you and Soul with his hands on his hips. Is this what you guys do every day? Or at least when you both get together? You raised a question. Hugo turns his head to you with a slight tilt. What do you mean? You mean Soul giving me lunch? He just keeps forgetting to bring his own. Hugo pouts. And you never finish yours, so I do the honors of ever finishing good food. Do the honors of ever finishing good food. Thank you very much. Those bento box art? What inspired them, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, you didn't know? Shut it, Go-Go. 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 Oh, now we're using the nickname, Sunny? How sweet of you. You see here, Cece, my old pal here just makes food art like the typical artist that he is. But he never bothers to finish it, much less eat it. And he really loves cute things like... With a finger under his chin, Hugo ponders for a short moment, trying to remember something from the top of his head, but to no avail. He turns to his friend, his arms crossed, seemingly uninterested in answering whatever inquiry Hugo is going to throw at him. What's the name of your plushed horse, Sonny? Like hell I am answering that. Boo. He owns a plush horse? Soul? Owns plushies? Soul bites his lips, his face turning red upon the reveal of his little secret. That's so cute. You're just full of surprises, Soul. He says nothing as he fixes his choker. The red blush tinting his face makes its way to the tips of his ears. but he appreciates your compliment nonetheless. Looks can be deceiving. Sure can. This makes you wonder, why do people never bother to notice him? Why don't people want to get to know him? Maybe they just never gave him the chance because of how he looks, not to mention his intimidating height. But he isn't like that at all. In fact, he can be considered a gentle giant. Well, that was the demo for the kid at the back. It's definitely an interesting story, and there definitely seems to be more than Crow than meets the eye. There's definitely more to Hyugo than meets the eye. And Soul's just a little creepy motherfucker, and I don't like him. But yeah, check out the game. It's in the description if you want to download it and check it out and look at all the routes and all of the dialogue choices and things like that. This is a friendly PSA to not kiss your friend under a big sea of constellations, because then your friend's gonna get murdered, and then you're gonna find him, and then you're also gonna get murdered, and that's just never a good time. And I will see you later.